Welcome in, everybody. Hail Heroes. We're gearing up for our Legacy Night stream.
Here we go. We're jumping right into this.
We are. We've already got them picked. We've got Calvin on 4-color control, and we've got Brian on food chain. All right. So Brian came in here, rushed in. He goes, "Okay, just to let you know, this is how I switched up my deck." And I was like, "Okay, now we know." That's excellent. So he does not run Emrakul in the main board. Yep. He's running Ballistas.
Four Ballistas main.
And a Trinket Mage to find Ballistas.
Which I think is kind of the standard build now, the most common build.
Right. Before he had the Fierce, one of Fierce Empath that would find Emrakul.
Yeah.
So it was kind of 2 cards.
Ballista for life. There you go.
Ballista for life,
right?
exactly.
Well, and his are foiled, of course, so they're cooler than everyone else's.
If they weren't cooler than ours, then I don't even know what the point would be.
So we're starting off with a Chris Rush signed Brainstorm.
Mm-hmm.
Can't get those anymore.
No. Well, I mean,
you can find them out there.
You can find them.
Can't go have them signed.
No, not so much.
Unless you want to sign it with your name.
I mean, I could do that.
Yeah. I want a signed Brainstorm. Oh, okay. I mean, you don't care who signs it. All right. So our backup match, we're going to have some Death and Taxes versus Black.
Something black.
Something that plays a basic swamp.
Yes.
We might get to that. Or we might just sit here watching Control versus Food Chain for the rest of the
I think that we should start there. Yeah. Let's just keep an eye on this one.
All right. Now. We've had some fetches. We've got Underground Sea versus Underground Sea, which is always exciting.
Ah, blue.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, you know it's going to be a good match. Oh. So here is the Manipulate Fate. I remember the card.
Thank goodness, because I did not.
This is the one where Brian gets to go find 3 cards from his library and exile them.
Yeah.
And then he draws a card.
Let's pull this one up. This one's a unique one, right?
All right, let's see how we're changing things here. And we have to pull up the foil version, right?
Don't want to give Brian too much. Just both.
All right, here it is. This is that card that's out in front of Brian. It's from Invasion.
Back in the day.
And you can find the non-foil ones quite inexpensively.
Yes. Right? And the foil ones are like really expensive.
So if you guys haven't played Food Chain, which I've not played against it many times, but he goes and finds Mist Hologriffins, which he can play from exile.
Right.
And sometimes he also gets another card that you can play from exile.
Oh my goodness. It's
the
one
3-drop.
the
3-drop for
recent
3/3.
Eldrazi's.
Yeah. That just escaped me completely. All right. Calvin's going to ponder.
Yeah, so these Mist Hologriffins that he gets and puts into exile on purpose, you can cast them from exile. And that's actually what his deck is good at doing. Food Chain is the name of the deck because of, you know, the enchantment Food Chain.
I shake my head every time that happens.
Uh-huh. And Food Chain exiles cards and gives you more mana than you had before. So Mist Hologriffin is a combo with that and gets you infinite mana, and this deck tries to abuse that.
And I believe Calvin is on kind of a check pile type deck with Leovold, or he might just be on Sultai. I'm not 100% sure if he's actually 4-color. I looked through very quickly. He might just be Sultai control.
Yeah, he's been messing with this deck a little bit. It's very versatile. It's able to shut down other people's strategies and win with silly cards like Leovold and Young Pyromancer.
Oh yeah, so you can see a Snapcaster Mage there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's see if Brian's kind of stuck right now on mana, right? He doesn't have all the manas.
No.
Let's see if he can get up to. You need 3 to cast Food Chain. and he might be playing around days right now. If he knows that Calvin's on something different, so I'm not sure that Brian knows exactly what Calvin's been playing the last few weeks or not.
But I'm not sure.
Calvin's been messing around with days decks. Here's a pretty good way to usually get a little extra mana. Deathrite Shaman. Look at this. Foil, Return to Ravnica, Deathrite Shaman versus foil, RTR, Deathrite Shaman.
And Brian wants his to be even better. He's told Bryce, he's like, I need a...
Just a small altering?
I need some altering on these.
Right?
They're good, but they're not good enough.
If we see the one of Gurmag Angler in Brian's deck, you'll get a taste of just the light altering treatment I gave it.
A little bit of alter.
Which I think it turns out pretty cool.
Okay.
All right, so Calvin can do this because Brian's Deathrite still has Summoning Sickness. And that's a Thoughtseize. That's a cool invocation, Thoughtseize.
Wow, that was crucial too, because he had his win con. He had everything in his hand to go off.
Now, he could have played a land that turn, couldn't he? Wasn't that turn? Oh, maybe he brainstormed and got it that way.
Yeah.
Huh.
Wow, that was crucial. So before he had everything he needed to combo off and win, and with that Thoughtseize, he now needs to find a food chain. Oh, he found a Leovold.
Leovold, main deck Leovold.
That's how good the card is, right? I mean, the food chain deck is already Sultai. Why not put a couple of a card that hoses like every blue deck in the format?
So Calvin's going to respond with a Brainstorm, so he actually gets to draw all 3 cards. Which has got to be the most fun thing ever, is playing Leovold versus Brainstorm decks.
Yes. Yep, and he's looking at his Ponder in his hand, going, this does nothing. It rearranges my cards.
Yeah. Baleful Strix is kind of nice. Gives him a way to slow down Leovold attacking, right?
Yes, but it does not draw him a card.
No, it doesn't. It's just a 1/1 flying death touch for 2. Okay, so Calvin's giving the very clear signal he has a Snapcaster Mage in his hand.
I'm going to look at my graveyard for no apparent reason.
That's why often, I'm pretty sure Calvin's just on Sultai. Let's change that. That's often why these players will play with their graveyards fully revealed. So they don't have to do that. You just glance at it periodically, and you can do it in a way when your opponent is shuffling or something like that, so they're not necessarily paying attention to where your eyes are, and then you don't reveal that you have a Snapcaster in hand.
And this is why you can like play with them all sprawled out, and just check your graveyard every turn. Just even if it hasn't changed, just take a look at it.
So it looked like right there, Brian purposefully removed a land from Calvin's graveyard without having a need for the mana, right? He just did that end of turn. Here he's doing it, and Calvin's going to respond by doing it. What it does is it will slowly shut Calvin off of mana.
Brian has created the illusion that his Deathrite is more important than Calvin's. Yeah. And therefore, that kind of forces one to be aggressive and one to be defensive.
It can be a weird game, right? Who holds their Deathrite up,
and who reacts,
and who's using it. Yeah.
Or who asks the questions and who answers them. Yeah.
All right. So he shoots Strix so that he can get Leovold in.
Okay.
So that was a use of Ballista, right? Not really where you want to be using it, but it works.
No, he's definitely realized that he's not going to have a hand. He may not be able to resolve some things later. Let's try to get him with this Leovold. Maybe it can take over the game. Yeah, so this is rough. So he's not going to draw a card off the Ponder, but he does get to look at 3 and put them back.
It becomes Scry 3. Except you don't get to put them on the bottom.
And you could shuffle.
It becomes a rearrange 3 and shuffle. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still actually a pretty strong card, right?
It's not terrible.
It still sets him up.
No, it's pretty bad if the top 3 cards are bad, which
yeah, and then you're
I
just
don't get
your library.
the way that he's looking at his cards. I can't imagine they're too powerful. I mean, I saw Badlands. I didn't see the other 2 cards.
All right. He puts him on top. He leaves him. And he says, go. Go.
And speaking of, I did see a Badlands now that I just said that.
Yeah, so maybe there
means
is some 4-color in there, isn't there?
Maybe. We'll see.
All right.
We'll see.
We'll
Sultai's fine for
change
now.
it as soon as we find out. All right, there's the other one, Eternal Scourge. As soon as I saw the art, I remember
Yes.
the name.
Eternal
So this is the 3 for 3, a 3/3, and the weird part about Scourge is if you target it, it goes to exile.
Yes.
So
Which is actually what the deck wants. You don't want these kind of cards in your graveyard. You want them to be in exile. So anytime somebody, casts a Fatal Push on it, or even an exiling effect, or anything, it will go to exile. And Brian's deck is very, very good at using his exile when it comes to these two creatures.
And usually, Eternal Scourge, you want it to be in exile anyway, even if you're not playing Food Chain.
Mm-hmm.
I played it in a Colorless Eldrazi in Modern for a little while, and so you actually run the
Relic.
Progenitus Relic, is that what it is?
Relic
so
of
that you can
Progenitus.
remove it from your graveyard, put
Yes.
it in exile so that you can replay it.
Yeah.
It was a nice way to kind of out-tempo Jund,
Yeah,
right? You
always.
always had the threat.
Mm-hmm.
3/3 beats. So this is the hey, you thought seized me, so I'm going to just attack you.
Yeah, it
with
looks like he's
3/3s.
gonna. I think he's gonna double block this Leovold. I think he is that terrified of it. Yeah, he's like, "What did you target with the Snapcaster?" He's like, "I don't know. It doesn't matter." Well, it kind of does. He can target Brainstorm and then Brainstorm after combat.
Yep.
Yeah, so he'll get rid of the Brainstorm now. Good call.
And the way that Calvin tapped his mana, he doesn't have any black, so he couldn't swing that Brainstorm at Brian. Of course, Brian would have been able to draw a card.
Yeah.
No. It's each opponent loses 2 life, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Off
it
of
doesn't
Death Rise,
target.
so it doesn't target.
Yeah.
So he goes down to 5.
He plays a island, and that's his second blue source, so he can cast the Miss Hollow-Griffin from his exile.
I don't think Calvin can come back from this situation. There's the red, so he's playing 4-color.
Not easily.
Change it back. Control.
Control lol.
Taps 3. He says, I have a
Kulgan's Command.
Kulgan's Command.
Let's kill Deathbright Shaman, bring back Snapcaster.
Hello, I can never say his name.
That's Jordan Hall.
Wow.
Welcome in, Jordan.
All right, they're going to game 2. Now, I'm curious here. It looks like if we go to our match, we've changed our layout.
overlay. Yeah.
It's pretty fantastic. So at the moment, I think we have. This is maybe Jeremy.
Was it updated on our sheet?
Yeah, we've got it right now. These are linked. We don't want to do that. So when I change on table 2, it changes on table 1 at the moment. So we just need to.
Yeah, I did not realize that.
Fix that. For now, we'll just leave it.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll maybe get that fixed in between rounds here. We have how many players do we have tonight?
Not sure.
I think we have 14.
14?
I think I counted.
Let's check our sheet. We can ask.
It,
We can ask.
and type things, add question marks, see
Yeah.
if somebody responds. It just kind of sends out into the void.
Yeah. Maybe we get a response.
All right.
Maybe we don't.
So I'm gonna transition over to this other match here.
Do we know what the field looks like? Usually our field is very diverse. Lately we've had a few more Reanimator decks than others, but otherwise,
Sorry, guys.
most people are on a different deck than the next.
There, that's what I want to do. So this is not Brian and Calvin's match. This is our backup match. This is Jeremy versus. I just forgot what his name is.
Dang it.
I apologize. So you can see some Death and Taxes versus some Sultai control with a lot of basics. So, oh, he's on a Nick Fit deck. Okay.
Yeah.
Where you got Veteran Explorer. $16.
Ask him for the rounds too. Who's on?
Ooh. Let's make sure that these guys haven't started back up again. They're pretty close, shuffling up in our food chain versus 4-color control match.
Yeah, and it looks like Death and Taxes will take this one down too.
Yeah. We're gonna go here and say Brian got the first one there. All right, as those guys pick up, we'll jump back over to this one.
Awesome.
Jay. It's Jay. I knew it started with a J, but then that's all I could think of, and his name is Jay. Jeremy versus Jay on. He's playing the Nick Fit deck.
Yeah, for now, we could make 2 new text sources and put them out there.
Yeah.
If that.
Go ahead. You can do that faster than I can.
Maybe I can. I'm definitely not sure about that, but let's try it.
You can just do these 2. Yeah.
Whoa. That's not how I want it to be.
All right. It looks like Brian has stepped away for just a moment. In the meantime, we'll fiddle with this text. It's
TNT.
And it's Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the field today, I know that we have a burn deck. We obviously have a couple Sultai-ish builds. I think there are 2 Storm players, but I'm not sure on that.
2 Storm players tonight?
I think so.
Yeah, we have had some Storm. It's usually pretty successful.
And do you know what Corey's playing? Is he still playing Soldiers?
I don't know.
And then we have Miracles. So recently, we've had Josh on Miracles and Corey on this Soldier Stompy deck. And they've been going near undefeated or playing each other in the finals. So at the moment, our field, our meta is... it's ever changing. How about that?
Ooh, I figured something out.
The bold there versus the not bold there.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and I really would not be surprised if we see Josh's deck on camera. He's been successful with it, as he often is. And he's on the Scry card. What's the Scrying card? I just Susang build with where you get to play counterbalance again.
Yeah. Okay, let's switch this one up. Oh, hold on. This one.
So we click on this one up here. So that's what we want. Instead of back table name, do player names.
Gotcha.
So go ahead and just get rid of that. Yeah. All right, here we go.
Trying to fix some stuff.
Well, yeah. While Kyra's dealing with that, we'll go through here. Yeah, that would be interesting to see. I agree. We've got Deathrite Shaman versus Deathrite Shaman, which often favors the first one played, as he has the advantage. Calvin could potentially drop a 3-drop this turn. And I can't see anything. So I'll tell you guys what's happening in a second.
That's my fault.
No, you're okay. He's going to fetch. He's going to tap some lands. Oh, here comes a 3-drop. What's it going to be? Transparency there.
Yeah.
Man, look at you. Making things happen that no one's aware of, but I am.
Thank you, Bryce.
I like the bottom banner with the
I do too.
the Paragon City border that's around inside the room here.
It's fixed.
So there's a 3-drop. Look at that. Just like that. I told you, the person that plays the Deathrite first works, right?
Yes.
He's able to drop down a Liliana, take out Brian's, and then a follow-up play is... Yeah, so Brian only had 1 mana.
Mm-hmm.
A 1 mana hand with a Deathrite Shaman isn't horrible, but... Ouch.
More than likely, he's taking the food chain. That's...
Brainstorm. Okay.
Okay. He feels like... Maybe he... Calvin probably just feels like his best way of getting back into this game is finding blue, brainstorming, and pushing his way into the game that way.
Yeah, setting up from there. How are we doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty all right.
We're doing all right. Do you guys dig this new layout? This what do you call it?
It is an overlay.
An overlay, yes.
I spent 2 hours with one of our owners before the stream.
You're not supposed to admit that. You're supposed to wait until they say it looks really good, and then you say, it took me 2 hours. Whereas if they say,
it's all right,
then you say, yeah, I threw it together.
It was no big deal.
I'll make it better later.
Yeah, which I will do, but yeah, I mean. We want feedback on that.
Yeah, it does look a little different, right?
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, so I was just saying, because maybe for some of you guys that haven't been in here, this kind of blue and gray and light blue banner at the bottom, it's a mural that kind of goes around the whole store.
It goes around the entire store.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
it's hand-painted. It's
hand-painted,
just this beautiful city kind of scene that looks really nice.
Yes, see? Nice setup.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
Yeah. So it actually took you 4 hours is what you were saying, right? You spent so long on it. That's why it looks so good. Oh, no.
It was nothing. Don't worry about it.
Brian's throwing other cards out at Final Fantasy cards. That's not a lie.
Well, welcome in the blue team. Awesome to have you.
Yeah, so Kyra and I here stream Legacy every Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And from Paragon City here, we also stream Legacy on Friday nights.
And we do Standards on Mondays.
Standard on Monday. And Kyra, you're doing Standard on Mondays?
Yes, I will be doing Standard on Mondays from now on.
Awesome.
Paragon City is located in Draper, Utah. It is just south of Salt Lake City.
Yeah, and we have a pretty nice Legacy scene here. We've got 16 players tonight. We've had as many as 30 on Tuesdays, which is pretty amazing for Tuesdays, right? Whereas Fridays, we've actually had more players playing Legacy on Fridays. We've had in the 20s. In the middle of hell. Oh, man. When is the modern stream? That is a question we keep getting.
We do. We haven't been able to find a good night that works for modern. I guess all of our modern players feel like FNM is enough for them. And we stream Legacy on those days, or on Friday.
It seems like, to me at least, and I could be wrong, that there's less live Legacy content that you can find weekly, whereas modern you can find stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Whether it's a GP or some sort of an open or something like that. And so if you're that's kind of why we've chosen to stream Legacy on Fridays, even though modern's being played in store. Right. Yeah,
the Nathonian, I agree. We could make the emblem a little smaller. This definitely isn't our final product. We're trying to make it, we're trying to make it as easy to view as possible.
We want to make sure you know it's Tuesday night Legacy.
We do. We want you to know. Just let you know it's Tuesday night. Oh, and it's Legacy. Just to make sure. Just if you weren't sure.
All right. So Calvin's Liliana gets out, which allows Brian to play Leovold. I actually missed how it... Did he just use it to... he got Abrupt Decay. There we go. So... make it bigger.
Make the emblem bigger. Half the screen.
Brian's actually in a spot where he can kind of come back into this.
Yeah, he is.
It was looking pretty bleak for a minute there.
It was. Yeah, he just needed to find a couple colors of mana, and honestly, Calvin's deck isn't very good at ending the game.
Yeah, Hardcast Food Chain, or Hardcast Force of Will, takes out Food Chain.
Hardcast food chain. Hardcast Force of Will.
Yeah. There's things being cast. And Brian goes on the offensive. I like it. 10 to 10. He's actually, you know, just doing just fine.
Yeah.
If he could somehow figure out how to get that Eternal Scourge into his exile instead of his graveyard,
that'd be fantastic.
He'd be in a much better spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Calvin starts. Well, no, I was going to say if he starts swinging with the Snapcaster and hanging back the Strix, but nope.
No, Calvin is winning the race from this point. I'm not entirely sure what Brian has to push the race back in his favor. Okay, yeah.
Trinket Mage into a
Ballista.
Walking Ballista will be effective.
It's a silly little blocker that's going to get something that can. I mean, next turn, if he wants to cast this Ballista on 4 mana, he can take care of the Strix and the Snapcaster. Or if he feels like the reach is a little too high on the Death Ray Shaman.
It looks like he's pulled out a Pithing Needle.
Okay.
So he might be more afraid of the Death Right that way.
Yeah, he can also cast that this turn.
Yeah. Yep. There's a beautiful masterpiece, Pithing Needle.
It is.
That's a gorgeous one. And Calvin's going to respond by hitting him for 2. Ooh, maybe. Maybe not.
He actually might feel like he's losing the race now. Maybe gaining life could give him more time.
Okay, there we go. These are some very foiled decks. These might be the most foiled decks in the room, actually, right?
As far as players that we have who value foils highly, these two are probably the biggest.
I think Calvin has successfully invocated all of his
invocatable things.
Invocatable things. That is something we just said out loud.
Yep.
And
he's got his judge.
Brian's is all foiled out.
Yes, Brian's is as well.
We need those masterpiece dual lands to be printed one day so that you could actually
foil your dual lands. Yeah, not happening.
On return to Dominaria, masterpiece.
Not likely. Okay. Brian is very, very close to dead.
2 life. He's got to figure out a way to deal with a Baleful Strix that's going to kill him in 2 turns. I know he's got a Leovold in hand. And it looks like a Verdant Catacombs.
The Shaman can attack too, you know? Like, he is facing down lethal attacking damage.
Well, so he could attack and play his other Leovold here.
Yes, he could.
As a blocker.
Absolutely true.
But putting Calvin down to 4 right here doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Oh, we are...
Looks like our camera's enjoying a little lagginess.
A little lagginess. Interesting.
So we can go...
We can lower our... lower the expectations on this.
Let's see if we can fix it. Down like this. Hopefully that looks better to you guys.
It's a little better on our end. It'll probably take a couple seconds for you guys to see, but...
Okay, so we missed a few things that just happened.
Yes.
We had a Mist Hologriffin cast and a Kolaghan's Command that tried to win the game, and Brian had a Force of Will.
Yes.
So right now, Brian's in a pretty good spot.
He is.
He had to pitch his other Leovold to force.
Yeah.
So he's down to 1 life.
But it leaves Calvin with no really good attacks. I mean, he could attack with the Baleful Strix and trade with the Mist Hologriffin. I mean, obviously Brian would have to block.
Right.
But I don't think that leaves Calvin in a better place. I think he's better off looking for a removal spell. And
so
that'll do it.
Brian plays the Verdant Catacombs there. Yeah. And I think you hold that in your hand. Just so you could brainstorm it away. You're never going to use it. And Brian's gonna fetch. All right, so Food Chain is a sweet deck. I agree. When it works, it's awesome. So that's 1-1. So we have one more.
We do.
Round 1, 1-1 each. And let's take a peek at our backup match. It's
Whoa.
really not what I meant to do. Here we go. So now we've got the names right.
Yeah. The round will stay the same, but we're not
Oh,
not entirely sure where this round is anyway. We know that Jeremy won game 1. That's all we know.
And this could very easily be game 3.
Very easily. More Leovolds today.
Yeah.
So we've got, geez, just on our feature matches, we've got 4 different decks. And I know what other people are on in the room, so like it wouldn't surprise me if there were like no duplicates. 16 players, 16 different decks.
Caracas versus Lee. Looks like they've both traded some threats back and forth there.
Yeah, it does. All right, so we got Stoneforge.
You'd think Jay would have an answer if he's got a
Yeah.
handful of cards. There it is.
We'll force will this.
See, and you know you're a committed food chain player when you foil it out. Right?
Yes.
I have not seen other foiled out food chain decks.
No. Brian's special.
Yeah, even if the metagame like totally hated on him and it was the worst deck to play, he'd still be playing food chain.
Yep, pretty much.
He's special.
He's a special guy.
Jeremy's got some equipment versus a Belfa Strix, just where you want to be.
Yeah.
That Strix is probably going to die eventually. If Jeremy can land any creature whatsoever. Jay recasts Leovold
All right.
and swings for 1.
Well, when the best thing you can do is
We're going to switch back.
yeah, let's do it. Let's jump back in on this match.
They quickly got started. I
Yeah,
guess there
they-
was less sideboarding, right?
Yeah.
All right, so Brian was on the play. He got the turn 1 death right this time.
And
And-
now we've got a turn 2/3 drop.
Yeah.
Leovold or Food Chain. I would guess.
Probably not Liliana of the Veil.
Leovold. Okay.
Leovold. Turn 2 Leovold is mean against Brainstorm decks.
Yeah, and we can see in his hand that pretty much all he has is, are those 2
I
Snapcasters?
think so.
So we've got a Brainstorm, 2 Snapcasters, 2 lands, and I'm sure the last card's a land as well. So now he's kind of in a pickle because his plan was to Brainstorm
Yeah.
and Snapcaster Brainstorm.
Okay, so right here, he's got Snapcaster sitting in hand. Do you kill Leovold if Brian attacks? Do you trade your Snapcaster and Deathrite Shaman?
Yes, I
He's
think
going
you do.
to.
I honestly think you do. It's a really hard decision to make because it's putting yourself so far behind, but what can you do, you know?
In a lot of ways, it's not, though, because Leovold's often a 2-for-1 regardless, right? So if you kill it, they get a draw card. So here, Calvin lost 2 cards to his Leovold. It's pretty much the same thing as if you bolted it.
Right.
But losing your Deathrite Shaman, that hurts. But... Uh-oh.
Is he in a pickle, Rick? Oh, nice.
Nick
nice.
Fit is
Nice,
fun
Patrick.
because you got to play other cards that you don't often get to play, right?
Yeah, Marin's a unique one. I haven't actually seen. I've never watched a Nick Fit deck play with Marin before. The Raven Sings. Do you know how many they play? Do they just play the one of?
I don't think every deck does. I've seen some other cards as the slot there.
Okay.
Like sometimes it's a Titania, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I've seen the Titania. I really like Titania too.
Deluge takes down. There we go.
Well, after Brian didn't play a land, it was
Yeah. Let's sweeper that Deathrite Shaman. Strix draws a land. Nope.
Not so much. All right. So this is exactly what Calvin needed to happen, right? Like he needed to get Leovold off the board, and he needed to Brian to brick on a land for a turn, and got him back into the game.
And it looks like Brian has the food chain. So if he draws a land, if Calvin can't counter it, that's it, right? He'd be able to play the Scourge from exile. He'd be able to play the Griffin from exile. He'd be able to go pretty infinite. He would just need a Ballista in hand.
In hand, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
it's kind of a flex spot, right? It's not a... I don't know.
Usually Nick Fit has one flex spot like that. But yeah, there are a lot of grindy matchups in this store too. I mean, we have, plenty of unfair decks as well, but kind of an even keel on it all. Got some control decks. We have some
Him
grindy
to
decks.
Torok. Here we go.
Oh, this is going to hit Food Chain, huh?
Probably, because he's playing Food Chain on camera, so it has to.
Has to.
In fact, he might have all 4 of them in his hand, and it's going to hit all 4 of them. 4. Oh, the suspense. Food Chain and Mist Griffin.
Did I call that one?
Yeah.
I can't quite remember.
It wasn't that long ago. You did.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah, you did.
It is starting to come back to my memory.
The judge.
Through my memory.
Oh, and then he thought seizes
Then he
afterwards.
thought seizes.
Mean.
He wants the best thing left over. He doesn't want the best thing and then a Hymn to Tarok.
We get to see he picks a shiny. Oh, manipulate fate. Really?
I kind of think he should hit the Level, but
The Angler's not bad here either. The Gurmag Angler. He'd be able to cast that, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in graveyard. 6,
yeah,
7,
it would
he
put
could cast that
the
next
it would
turn.
put the Griffin in the graveyard as well.
In exile.
Sorry,
From
from the graveyard
yeah.
to exile.
Yep. Okay. He says Level. You know, if Calvin has a Liliana or some other removal spell, that Angler isn't scary at all.
Oh man, that Baleful Strix getting in. All right.
All right, so this is the
this
is
resolves.
the slightly altered Gurmag Angler.
Okay.
We were
You
chatting
extended
about
out,
just a
you
moment
extended out the border.
Just a really nice light black border, but it's on a foil, and it looks like really cool.
Okay.
Turns out pretty neat.
Right. If it wasn't foil, then it wouldn't meet up to Brian's expectations, or Christopher Rush signed. If it's not foil, then it has to be Christopher Rush.
Or Chris Rush altered.
Right. Right. Yeah.
All right, let's see what Calvin was thinking here. Did he have a game plan to deal with this Angler? He's got a Baleful Strix. That's an answer. So yeah, here you can see Strix looks better than Leovold, or Angler feels better than Leovold right here, right?
Mhm.
The Strix handles it, and Leovold hurts, even if it's just sitting on the other side. There's the third land, just in time. Oh wait, just 3 turns late.
No, I think this keeps him in it pretty well.
He gets another. He takes out a Manipulate Fate. Don't
Yeah,
want
he
those.
doesn't want to draw another one.
No. And
There should be at least one more Miss Griffin, right? Maybe not. He's like, what else don't I want to draw?
Nah, don't need those Force of Wills.
Yeah,
Let's get rid of
let's
those.
get rid of those.
So here's a weird cantrip. I'm going to pay 2, exile some cards I don't want, and then I'm going to draw a card.
2 mana cantrip.
It's just like Scry 3, except totally different.
Right.
It's not Scry 3. It's remove 3 from your library, draw a card.
It is nice to know that it is doing something even after.
That was a fatal push.
Yeah, that is a fatal push. Oh man, Brian's like, yeah, got rid of it.
So
Gurmag
how do you
Angler getting in.
fatally push a owl?
You probably need to push it with enough force that it can't actually get back up and fly, right?
It's not the fall that kills it; it's the actual push.
That's how hard the push had to be.
Yeah. That's now I get it. It's
Yeah.
not a fatal push you over the edge. It's a fatal push that shoves you so hard you just die.
Well, when your entire rib cage collapses,
It makes so much more sense now. I've been confused for the flavor on several of these cards, but if you pushed an owl really hard, it wouldn't survive.
yeah, that could just be it.
Uh-oh. We've got a timer timing.
Brian's like, here, I'll give you a timer.
Let's see. Is that, yeah.
Yeah, that does track.
6 1/4 or 6 3/4 left in the round.
Yep. It looks like they should be able to finish this game too. I'd imagine Brian can get there with this Gurmag Angler before then.
Jump block.
Only 6 more turns to win with my owl.
Now here's a question for you. Why? I have no idea the answer to this one. Why do they call it chump blocking? That's just a thing. It's always been a thing, right?
It's always
I'm
been
just
that
going to
way.
stick my little dude in front of your big guy and chump block. But
Because I'm blocking with this little chump.
He's just a chump. Yeah. I don't know. Is there a better reason? Some things in Magic have a history and they make sense. Others.
Am I unaware? Am I unaware of the actual definition of chump? Right? Like, maybe it means something that I don't know. What it means.
If we look it up, it says to put a small blocker in front of a large one. Yeah, Brian did get game one. He didn't get to food chain combo. He just attacked with some 3/3s for lethal.
Leovold got there, shut him down pretty well.
And it's looking like he's going to take game 3 as well.
Yeah, it does look that way. Especially with Eternal Scourge, everything that Calvin has that could get rid of Eternal Scourge puts it right into the exile pile.
And then he just recast
and he'll recast it, and it's countering it even good at that point. I mean, yeah, I guess it gets it into his graveyard.
Yeah, yeah. Countering it is one answer, for sure. But there's also, remember, several missed hologriffins, so as soon as Brian hits another land source, he can just start going off that way.
Oh, boy. All right. JTMS.
Okay, so do you... we slowed down again. Do you bounce...
No, we're okay.
Maybe he just paused
He
perfectly.
is. Yeah, he is.
You bounce the 5/5, right? The Angler.
Absolutely. There's nothing else to even target at this point.
Or you Brainstorm.
All right.
That makes sense. Okay. He finds a Bolt and something else. Yeah, this
can't
is...
see the other two cards very well, but I can't imagine that any of this looks great.
Yeah,
I think
the Jace buys him some time, but there's still too much time in the round for it to really matter. As soon as he goes to turns, Brian's going to have this anyway.
I mean, from this point, if he didn't take the Bolt and he didn't take any removal at all, a removal spell from Brian could win this game. Patrick, Jay and Jeremy are still playing. We're gonna transition over there here pretty soon.
Looks like they're
in game
near
3.
the end as well. Yep.
Yes, 4-color check pile does have an amazing value. It's kind of the draw to play it, right? Like, I guess the mana base is usually pretty expensive, but if you have them, then you're able to play pretty much the best of the best cards when it comes
Unless
to
you really like white.
Yeah. when it comes to card for card value.
The Jund of the modern Jund of Legacy, is that what you're saying? Every card just is good.
I don't know.
by
Jund's
itself?
not very good in Legacy at the moment.
No. I mean, this is the modern version of in modern. Yeah,
in modern,
yeah.
sorry,
But it used to be. It used to be like the
yes.
value deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where every card was just strong by itself.
Yeah. You're just trying to select each card by its individual value, which, I mean, you're looking at the cards on the board and you're going, okay, we've got Deathrite Shaman, we have Jace the Mind Sculptor, Snapcaster Mage, Leovold.
Yeah.
All of these cards are amazing on their own.
Unlimited Bayou, way cooler than Badlands.
Way better.
All right. So we had some things happen, and Calvin's going to gain 2 life. He loses a life to do that, though. And now he's going to bolt something.
It would make sense for him.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That just buys him a little bit of time.
I almost expected him to bolt the Owl and bounce the Angler on his coming turn. Or on the last turn, I mean.
Brian gets to draw a card and Brainstorm.
Yeah, I think Brian wants to find, another land. Mm-hmm. He wants to play the Missile Griffins.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Deathrite Shaman
and everything else.
Sorry,
too.
I forgot to mention that.
Okay, so Calvin, if he had, which I don't think he's got another one, a Toxic Deluge would help him a lot here.
It would.
He's already played 1. He took out a early Deathrite Shaman.
And this is probably his biggest draw to just Brainstorm with Jace, right?
Yeah,
that's what he's
just got to find
doing.
that. But I don't know if he plays 2.
Most decks don't.
Yeah. Maybe post sideboard, right?
You could, yeah.
Yeah, Fatal Push isn't going to do it, so that goes away.
So little did we know, Food Chain doesn't even need Food Chain.
No. It's overrated.
It just plays with 4 mana 3/3s.
Well, he played a food chain, and it got forced, right? No, it got hymned. It got hymned.
It got hymned. Yeah, it got hymned.
See, so it was value. It was something to get hymned.
Yeah, and the other one got Thoughtseize in the other game.
All right. Angler of his own. That's something.
Yep.
It definitely changes the clock. And Fatal Push
on the
Death Right. All right.
Okay.
Calvin's still going. You can see he's got 30 seconds left in the round before time is called. And we're going to trade the anglers. And Brian just went to the face with those Strixes.
This way he presents lethal.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what he wants. I mean, if his opponent, if Calvin decides that, I want to live another turn, you can just bounce the Miss Hollow Griffin, but really this isn't a line to victory. It's just kind of holding him off for another turn or two.
Right. Ooh, it's too little too late, I think.
Yeah, Liliana's much too late.
What was the blue card?
I did not see. Looks like a Snapcaster.
Hmm?
I think Snapcaster is actually quite good at this moment. It gets to Fatal Push a bird, but he already brainstormed with the Jace.
You can also snap back a lightning bolt, right, for the Griffin.
For the Griffin.
It feels like hanging on here. So I'm pretty sure this is turn 0 of turns. I think that's why Brian's holding onto a dice.
Right.
All right, Snapcaster Mage. RPTQ, kind of a Jamaican Snapcaster Mage. Ooh, okay. Here's a Toxic Deluge.
Oh, he Snapcastered the Toxic. Genius. Okay, so this turn, Brian can just play another Griffin. I mean, Calvin might be pushing this one to a draw. In fact, that looks like what he's doing. But I think we know that Brian would win this round eventually.
See, I told you he just needed another Toxic Deluge.
Yeah,
of course. He did. Just find the Snapcaster. There you go.
I always forget that when you have one copy of something and 4 Snapcasters, are you really playing one copy?
Right. Because
once you find the one, you have like 3.
And I was thinking of all of the instants that you could use: Fatal Push, Lightning Bolt, all the removal spells that way, not the sorcery. All right, Liliana. Liliana says you're gonna sack that 3/3.
This is actually winding up to look like a draw. Yeah, Liliana's probably gonna downtick. Oh no, he's gonna bounce.
Okay.
And discard. Okay.
No.
What?
I'm not sure what just happened.
I think the Liliana's supposed to be at 4. He plussed the Liliana. Yeah, this has been a crazy comeback. Absolutely.
Okay, so Calvin's at 1 life, right?
Yes.
So a
Ballista.
A Walking Ballista wins the game.
Yeah.
He's got
4 left.
A turn to do it. So he's thinning his deck.
Thin his deck, and we're gonna hope to find a Ballista. Well, Brian's gonna hope.
Trinket Mage also wins the game.
Yeah.
Lets him go find the Ballista.
I think his Trinket Mage actually did get discarded earlier. Because I want to say he had it in his opener, didn't he?
All right, he's going to play some cards from exile.
And Brian will have one more turn.
Yep. Yeah, he says, I've got these 2 in my graveyard, 1 still in exile.
I think he just top decked to him to Tara.
So, yeah, I'm super confused what happened with the Liliana and the Jace combination there as to why we weren't able to make him sack and plus Jace or plus Liliana and...
Yeah, I'm confused by that as well.
This is turn 4. Calvin's going to see what he can find in the top 3. Leovold. That almost would do it.
This does give him another turn.
He's at 1 life, isn't he?
Oh,
that'll do it.
Yep. And we can hear everybody laughing in the outside of our podcast studio.
He says I've got to rip the ballista.
And he did.
Did it.
Found it.
There it is.
It looks like everybody was watching that match outside. That's awesome.
So Brian takes that down without ever getting to actually use food chain.
Guys, this is why you foil your cards. They have more of a desire to help you out.
All right, we can switch back over to this other. This is round 3 or game 3.
I do believe this is game 3, yeah.
Of our, I hope so, because they're on turns.
Yeah, and these are linked still. I can probably make a new one.
And this is probably our last match here of round 1, and then we'll have round 2 going really quick here.
I'm gonna fix this while we're watching.
And it looks like we've got a Liliana emblem in play, which makes zombies. It's been a little while, right? Isn't that what Liliana does? Liliana Last Hope?
Yes?
And on the other side, we've got a Sanctum Prelate and a Jitte with counters on it. Prelate on 1. This is quite the board state to just jump into here. And it looks like we're on turn 2. So Jeremy's at 3 life, Jay's at 7. Man, we've got just what you would expect to see, right? Sanctum Prelate with a countered Jitte versus a Thragtusk and a Scavenging Ooze. And when you get a crowd of people around the camera like that.
Yes. So close.
Prelate died somehow. I was too busy watching
that camera got bumped really bad.
Right?
I will fix that right after this is done, my friends.
You spent
like
how long getting it all lined up perfectly, and then bam, there it all goes. Oh, just keep getting smashed. There we go.
I'm gonna fix that right now.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And we'll have round 2 for you guys here really soon, since those I'm pretty sure were our last 2 matches. Yeah, the Lily emblem. Let's see here. It's been a little while since I've seen a Lily. Yeah, we're still moving things around. All right, we go like this, and we go like this, and then you guys can see this card. So here's what he had going on. This -7, you get an emblem with it. At the beginning of your end step, put X 2/2s black zombies onto the battlefield where X is 2 plus the number of zombies you control. So the first turn you get 2, next turn you get 4.
Is it looking a little better?
And you tell
me. Yeah.
That's how you want it?
Yeah, looks good.
Let's see the other one.
It's straightened out enough. It was just so bad. Oh man. I go out there and Brian's like, "How'd you like that?" And I was like, "It was awesome." He's like, "I was gonna win anyway, but I mean, we'll take it."
Getting the ballista off the top.
Yeah, that'll do.
Did you guys already talk about pre-release?
No, sir. Let's talk about that now.
Ooh, let's do it.
Good idea. All right, so pre-release coming up this weekend. We are going to be running 3 of them. $35. And our prize support is going to kill. Just for playing, it's 4 packs, I believe. It's incredible. So we have a midnight tournament, and then we're going to have an 11 a.m. tournament as well. And then our 5 p.m. tournament will be a Two-Headed Giant. So we would love to have you guys come in on Saturday, Friday night, whatever.
And so the prize is, it's 4 packs just for playing, right?
Just for playing.
But then
so
if you go, is it 4-0? Is it 4 rounds?
Yeah.
4-0 is like... half
a box or something.
Yeah, it's like half a box. So it's not like it's all weighted evenly or anything like that. It's still a really nice payout for going undefeated, and obviously scales.
Right. I can actually pull that up.
And I will warn everybody, we are going to run out of space.
Wow.
So get in and register early.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I gotta go write down my name.
Absolutely.
There's too many events.
Oh, so many events. All week.
Make sure that we're here. Okay.
Okay. Let's go over here.
Yes, the Raven. It's true. If you live here, you get a chance to actually play with people that have the paper cards.
The Raven sings. Where are you from? You're not even from the US? Where are you tuning in from? All right.
Uh-oh.
And Patrick's gonna get me a birthday present. Look at this guy.
That was not today. Here it is. Scroll down just a little bit.
Yeah, my birthday was not today.
So if you
It was
just
actually
play,
yesterday.
even if you don't win a match,
4 packs.
you get 4 packs of Ixalan.
Yes.
If you get a win, just one
Yes.
of 4 rounds, you get 5. 2 wins, 6 packs. 3 wins, 9 packs. And if you go 4-0, you get 18 packs.
Yeah, I think $35 for 18 packs. That'll fly for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
England, awesome. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's awesome to have you.
You can just enjoy Legacy vicariously through this stream right here. You don't need to actually play Legacy to enjoy it.
We would know. We're not playing Legacy. We enjoy it.
we got to see some pretty awesome matches right there, right?
I just
We got to
realized.
see Walking Ballista win a game, which against 4-color, that's not how I would have expected it to go down.
Right.
Tuesday night. Yeah. He sees that right as you're changing it.
Oh, is that what he just said? Yeah, not standard. Sorry, I was actually just barely Monday, Tuesday. I'm switching stuff. We'll make it good. Promise.
And it looks like we got players sitting down right now, so we'll get second round going up. There we go. Tuesday Legacy.
Ha. Sorry about that, guys.
Is it still Monday? For somebody in England, maybe it is. That's not how it works, but
All right, let's see what we've got going here. We are being informed on who's going to be playing. So we've got Zach Hardman, which, if I'm correct, usually he's on a 4-color Allurin build.
he is not today.
He's not.
He's on a Bant. Like a Bant Deathblade or something like
Oh,
that.
okay. He's been playing Allurin for so long that...
Yeah.
Interesting.
And Ian. This isn't Ian. Which one should we watch? Do you want to watch Bant versus
Move this
Burn?
over a little bit.
Or should we watch Lands versus Storm? That's a choice.
Oh, and this is actually the wrong one. This is Lands versus
yeah,
Storm.
Exactly. So we got to pick.
All right, guys. Lands versus Storm or Deathblade versus Burn? First one to get 2 votes. That's the one we'll do.
Or a vote. Lance. That makes no sense.
Burn.
Lands
and Storm.
Here it is. Okay, here we go. We've got
Lands
Paul.
and Storm. Okay. This should be a quick one.
Paul and Lands versus Shay, not Zach. Shay on Storm, I think. I'm pretty sure. He was telling me that he was going to build something different, but I don't know if he has yet.
I kind of hope he has, because, man, I'm sure we've voiced this 100 times, but Storm, not exactly the most exciting deck to watch. I know that if you're a Storm player, then you're like, oh, that was awesome, but not a whole lot of interaction. A lot of math. It's not back,
Oh.
right?
Yeah. So we just need to get rid of that altogether.
Yes, we should just get rid of that, because I made new ones.
Run.
Burn. Okay,
And
we're getting set up. The decks have been cut. He had some elves sleeves earlier. You think he was on elves? That'd be cool.
that looks like Burn or Storm. We got some shuffling.
That we do.
The most
That we
exciting
do.
part of the night right here, everyone. Mono red Stompy is a good time, actually. If you can totally lock your opponent out because you got a Chalice on 1, you should win.
Something's a little more fun about locking people out than like killing them on turn 2. I mean, I know that there are a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I want you to, just like I just want to kill you on turn 2. But I appreciate that people are like, no, I'm gonna focus on locking you out. The win comes later.
Oh, you're playing 4-color? I have this enchantment that just locks you out of anything but red.
For the first 5 turns, I'm going to let you feel like you can get back into the game.
And I'm not sure that Shay even scryed there. I think he's like, yep, I'm keeping this. I don't even need to scry.
All right.
So he named something, and Cabal Therapy did not hit it. We get to see a Mana Bond, which is going to cause for a stupid turn for Paul here. He gets to go turn 1.
Just like that.
Yeah, ready? Mana Bond. Does it resolve? Yeah, you're playing Storm. It resolves. He goes down a step, and he just gets to play all his lands. All right, so this card is weird. I hate this.
It's because you do the same thing every time, and it never works any differently. Legacy the shuffling.
We got the weird old version of, or the
online
version.
The online version.
Yeah. So at the beginning of your end step, you may reveal your hand and put all land cards from it onto the battlefield. If you do, discard your hand. Oh, weird, because Paul only had lands, so he got to play them all.
So turn 1, he dumped his hand onto the board,
and then he got to gamble for a Life of the Loam. Just fair.
Perfect.
Fairness.
Oh, look at that! Life of the Loam goes to the graveyard. However, did we figure that one out?
Wasteland took care of one of Shay's lands. So this is kind of weird because a lot of Paul has a Tabernacle of the Pendravial out, right? It's doing nothing, and it's going to do nothing.
Yep.
Often that would just wreck a deck, right? If it had been the previous matchup and Brian was relying on a Deathrite Shaman or something like that, Tabernacle's upkeep cost would have just ruined him.
Yeah.
But
it would have been over.
This is like the one of a few decks that just does not care about Tabernacle. Which anytime you can absolutely not care about a $1,000 plus card, that seems like you're doing something right.
Yeah. And Shay has been fetching to avoid Wasteland. It's the best thing he can do at this point. Make sure he has enough lands to go off. And the lands deck main board, it doesn't have anything against Storm. Shay's going to have a lot of time.
It looks like Shay's actually pretty close here. We'll see how this works out. He's getting up to Threshold, so that he'll be able to Cabal Ritual for more mana. And he's already got the Tendrils of Agony in hand and the Ad Nauseam. So he just needs to hit enough things that he can get a Storm count up. And obviously Paul isn't pressuring his life at all. In fact, we don't even see life dice at the moment, do we?
No.
We need to get those back on. We don't even need life, so there's just going to be a handshake at the end of one of these combos is what's going to happen. We really don't need to know what.
Normally I would look at it and be like, whoa, they moved our life dice. Why would they do that? But then this matchup does not need them at all.
There they are. You can see they're just off of screen there because Paul is losing some life to Ancient Tomb. That's pretty silly. They've got the play mats out perfectly, but the life dice are just off screen.
And they know this too. That both of these players play on this feature match table enough. They should know that we don't really see what's off the mats.
Okay, Ghost Quarter is going to matter. Being able to take out Shay's lands is fairly strong. And I'm not sure how many basics that he plays.
I can't imagine it's very many. He might have 2 of each, maybe 3 islands, maybe 2 swamps.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't really matter which one he picks,
No.
as it'll get him closer to Threshold, and he's got the Lotus Petal in hand.
Yep, so he'll cycle Trickle Thicket, and he's going to dredge instead of draw. And he's got another Ghost Quarter there. Cast Life from the Loam, get back probably the Tranquil Thicket, a Ghost Quarter, and I'm not sure what the other land he picked up was. Bojuka Bog, looks like. Bojuka Bog matters.
Yeah, yeah. If he knew he was going for Threshold, dropping the Bojuka Bog right now would be a big deal. Oh, he's going to, right? Mana Bond gets to put them all out.
All right, end step.
There goes that idea.
Yep. So now Shay's actually kind of in trouble. Paul may be able to win this game just by making it so Shay has actual 0 mana. Although I believe the deck can go off with.
Can you make it happen here? Okay, that's 5, right?
Yep, it is.
Ad nauseum says. We'll do a count here. That's 2. 2 more. 4.
4.
0. Empty the Warrens, 4
8.
more, right? So he's lost 8 life, so he's at 12. Brainstorm down to 11. I don't think he has anything that costs 4 or more now, so he can just keep going for a while. Duress puts him down to 10. He's hitting all of the diamonds and the tutors. This is looking pretty strong, actually. We know he has the Tendrils of Agony in hand, so all he needs to do is get his storm count up high enough and have. See, he can't Infernal Tutor for the Tendrils, though.
No. This is actually going to be a little frustrating for Shay because he's hit his both of his big storm cards. How many Tendrils of Agony do
I think it's just got the 1.
Yeah, and he got
Empty the Warrens.
And he empty the Warrens.
Yeah.
So at this point,
Empty wouldn't really help though against the Tabernacle.
Right. So he's put his storm count at 4. And we know he has 2 Lotuses.
And his life is at about 8 life or so, I think. Maybe 7.
I think he went a little lower than that. I think he's closer to 5, but he can play a land for this turn, so he's got 2 Lotus.
Maybe if he has another Tendrils of Agony, then I think he's got this.
If he has another Tendrils of Agony, then he does. Because this way, even at this point, he should, with the Ancient Tomb tapping and putting him to 18, he can just sack both of these, cast his. Oh, he could, yeah, add a little bit more mana. Okay. Oh no, he has another ritual effect, doesn't he? In Tendrils.
And Tendrils.
Okay.
Just hard cast it that way.
Yeah,
Yep.
so he put enough cards in
works.
his graveyard.
There he goes. So Shay gets that one. Of course, he can just cast all the manas he needs.
He can.
And actually just pay for the Tendrils.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask them to put the life dice on their mats real quick.
All right, while those guys sideboard and shuffle up, we'll switch over to game 2 of this match. It's kind of hard to tell who won. Let's fix the round there. We're on round 2. Round 2,
right.
And I'm going to guess that Ian won.
Game 1.
Oh,
Because it was a quick one.
Well, I was trying to guess off of who had what lands there, but I'm not sure now. Ian played his 3rd land first, but I'm not sure if Zach has a 3rd land, so it makes it a little...
Yeah, and Zach is not on Bant. This looks more Esper to me. Not that one. Actually click on it. Yeah.
We'll call it Deathblade for now.
Deathblade works.
We'll be safe.
He has
I
Stone
just-
Forges. Yeah, I think it's Esper, but no, I've actually gotten to play an Esper Deathblade deck before. It was a hard deck to pilot. It really
There's a lot
was.
of choices.
Tons
Right.
of choices. I actually felt like it was really rewarding because I was able to put together a lot of victories, and it was never, it never felt like, oh yeah, my opponent just didn't get to play that one. No, you don't really win fast enough for your opponent not to get back into games. It is very, very difficult to play.
I'm not 100% sure that Ian won that first one still. So, it was a guess.
Right.
We'll see how that plays out.
Zach has Batter Skull. This is, that's a card that I feel like is going to be really hard for Ian to get around. 4/4 attacking every turn, gaining 4. Yeah. Even in Jitte, that's enough life gain that I'd call it a. Yeah. So we know this isn't game 1. So I wonder how much artifact hate has come in. Yeah, we got to smash the smithereens. Excellent. Exactly what Ian needs to be able to.
And so
to
Zach's
show up
going
to
to
this
force
game.
of will that smash the smithereens, pitching a True Name Nemesis.
Yeah, that's crucial.
And Zach's down to 7 there because Ian played a Firecraft the turn before. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So this is going to lopside these life totals a little bit. 4 damage. It's going to put Zach back up to 11.
It's pretty mean when you draw your sideboard card to deal directly with Batter Skull and Force of Will.
Mm-hmm.
Just handles that.
Everything you could ever want it.
And there's still answers. Burn has a way to deal with a 4/4.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a ton of them though.
No, and with 3 cards, Burn can actually kill from 11. So that's something to note as well.
Not if one of them's a mountain. All right, we're gonna switch back. We get to see lands. Starting off with the Mox Diamond, and we know Shay took game 1. And Sphere of Resistance is gonna start us off.
Yeah, this is called the sideboard card.
And Sphere says no. That's what it.
Right.
That's kind of what it says. We'll look at the much cooler.
The cool Sphere of
I guess
Sphere of
I guess
Resistance.
it's cooler.
It has more flavor text.
It does, which means it must be cooler, right?
It must be cooler.
Sphere simply says spells cost 1 more. All of those spells. Luckily, Paul's playing lands, and he doesn't care.
Nope. He's like, oh, I have to pay an extra? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Pretty effective when you're trying to cast a whole bunch of stuff that costs 0. And like that that LED right there cost 1 more.
Yeah, and cards like this just tear up Storm because Storm doesn't really bring in a lot of things that interact with opponents too much, right? They want to stick to their strategy, and they can't really afford to stray from it too much. I imagine they have some bounce permanents, that can let them go off that turn.
So I made a fatal error, a near fatal error on Friday. I was playing at Storm round 1, and I'm playing Grixis Control, right? So
Okay.
I'm Cabal Therapying, right? That's a big game plan there where you're Gitaxian Probing, Therapy. So I draw a second Cabal Therapy, or I'm able to flash it back or something like that. And I had written down what my opponent's hand was, and I wrote down Diamond for LED. He also was playing Chrome Mox, so I wrote down Mox underneath that, and a couple other cards. So I play Cabal Therapy and ridiculously name Mox Diamond. That's what I said out loud. My opponent's like, you sure? Like, yeah, I want to get rid of the Mox Diamond. When of course I wanted to get rid of the Lion's Eye Diamond, the one card that was going to lose me the game. It was just sitting in my opponent's hand. It was bad.
And he let you name it, and you just threw it away?
Yeah. It just did nothing.
Did you flash it back immediately and hit the right
No,
one?
no, I didn't get to. I think I ended up winning that game luckily, but I should have lost.
Now we've got a Tireless Tracker from the Lands player. So Tireless Tracker is actually really good out of the sideboard of these Lands decks. Most people board out all the removal, or the removal that isn't a sacrifice effect, and these tireless trackers just get to gain tons of value.
Right. And you're playing against Storm, right? So he doesn't really have an answer for that anyway.
Nope.
But if you can go Sphere of Resistance into tracker, that's a good clock.
Yeah, and sometimes the land deck doesn't really get its Dark Depths combo going very quickly, and this is another card that they can cast to actually put pressure on the opponent. To beat Storm, you need to kill them. You can't just sit there and durdle all game. You want to put a clock on them, usually as soon as you can.
See, now I gotta wonder. We had 3 or 4 people ask for lands versus Storm. Nobody said anything.
Nope.
They're just so enamored. They're so focused in on watching this amazing back and forth, sitting here doing nothing.
Storm versus lands.
Yeah, she's just like, no, I've had enough. Get me out of this.
Excellent. We can go look at our other match.
There we go. Our other match.
Oh, and they're just starting up.
Just starting. Perfect.
We had a lava spike to
There we
start
go.
things off.
So we probably are on game 3 here.
More than likely.
Round 2, 1-1. I wonder if that's a little. Is that round 2, 1-1 confusing to anybody, or is that clear as day? What's
We
going
put
on
some
there?
parentheses around it.
Maybe just an extra space. What if we just gave that one more? That's a little bit more clear, right? I was confused a minute ago when it said round 1, 1-1. I was like, how many rounds? What's happening? Eidolon? That's not a fair card.
No, as it turns out, most cards in Legacy cost 3 or less. One more space works.
Is the Tim. Thanks for joining us. Right on. Join us every Tuesday. We're here.
We are. Every Tuesday. And we have another casting crew on Friday doing Legacy as well. And Monday we have Standard.
So, I go to type in the name of a card.
We're great at what we do.
Yeah.
Just before he explains what he's about to explain.
I wouldn't say we're great.
Great. Phenomenal.
But man, that is frustrating. I go to type this thing in, and every time it auto-selects it, and then it's bad.
And then he clicks again, so like he starts typing even though there's words already there.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's fantastic. Here's this card that Byrne just played. So this is the most card I want to counter when I play Byrne.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If I have Force of Wills or Days or whatever, this is the thing that I have those in there for. When I'm playing, I still can't remember what I'm on. Grixis, I'm like on a Young Pyromancer build right now. That'll work. Swords to Plowshares gets rid of it.
You know, Peaches and Cream, that's okay. You don't have to like Standard. We do provide Standard for people who like it, but we have Legacy twice a week.
Yeah. We are in Provo. We're in Draper, Utah. We should probably just have that right up here.
Draper, Utah.
We get asked that.
Yeah, we're in Draper, Utah. It's just south of Salt Lake City. Yep. It's in the same valley, so very, very nice area.
We've got a meddling mage. Do you think he named Byrne? That's what I would name. What cards do you not want your opponent to play? All of them.
All of them.
See, he just did. He just tapped it, said Byrne.
I bet you he said Smash Smithereens.
That's actually.
Or like if he has the Stoneforge Mystic,
Yeah.
I could see something like Smash Smithereens being the most important target. Otherwise, it might be Fire Blast
Or Eidolon. Another Eidolon would be.
Right.
Oh, we can see. Maybe you guys can see. It doesn't matter. Oh dear.
Thanks, Captain QC. We appreciate it. Always happy to have you.
All right. In just a moment here, we are going to jump back to Lands versus Storm. See, we changed to a different match, and suddenly everybody starts talking to us again.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, I don't want to watch this match. I guess I'll talk to you guys."
Is Byrne viable? Byrne is absolutely viable.
It is viable. However, it has a large weakness to decks that have blue in it. And if you know anything about Legacy, that's most of the format.
Yeah.
It does win fast, and it is very efficient.
And you can you can steal games, right?
Absolutely.
Especially if players aren't prepared for it. For a while here, it was not even in our meta at all.
At all.
And suddenly you throw one burn player in here who has a pretty good grasp on what he's doing, and you can win games. So all the decks, yeah, pretty much all the
basically.
ones.
It's really, really good against mid-range strategies. So like decks that are playing counter magic that's just force of will, those decks don't usually have a lot to say against burn. But if they're playing,
all right, we got a
more
probe.
counter magic.
Probe's used 3 crop rotations: Thespian Stage, Dark Depths, and a Dark Depths. Is that right? Do we have 2 Dark Depths there?
Can't tell what the third card is.
Which is kind of a weird keep, actually.
Oh yeah, Burn's been killing it.
You're asking in all seriousness. Okay. I have never. Have you maybe can answer this one better than I can. Is there a clash between Mormonism and games like Magic?
I actually do have a decent enough answer. I'd rather not get too involved with stuff like that, but since it is a huge part of the culture in Utah, to be honest, it completely depends on the parents. So for instance, like when I was growing up, which growing up in Utah, you're going to experience Mormonism in some way or another, but it was never a big deal.
Yeah.
I always played Magic with my friend Brian. In fact, like when I was younger, kids got together and played all the time. No issue. It's only an issue to the people who make it an issue, which honestly, it's going to be the same way whether you add Mormonism into that or
culture,
not.
Yep.
So
Any
no,
religion.
if my best answer is no, it does not affect it.
Yeah, I'd agree. So back when I very first started playing, way back when, it was like 4th edition Ice Age, there was this weird push that Magic the Gathering was somehow related to Satanism, right?
Right.
And Magic actually took out certain symbols and got rid of demons as a card type and blah, blah, blah. But that was a thing all around the world. It wasn't just a Mormon thing in any way, obviously. And they've gone back to having demons.
Right.
And having some pretty dark cards. If you look at
except for the ponder that shows titties. Yes. Except for that one.
But they're like mermaid, merfolk things, and so it doesn't matter.
Nope. They're not even human.
In fact,
so it's acceptable.
It might be a guy. We don't know. We don't know. It's just a really fit guy.
No, interesting question though.
Oh, what is this card? Shay's about to drop down here. I wasn't sure. Was it? Yeah, Dark Confidant. How about that? Bringing in Dark Confidant into Storm. This is great.
Super McGrad. That's hilarious. Yeah, a lot of people think that burn is just play the cards in your hand. If you've ever actually played it in a competitive environment, it is absolutely more than that. But I think as far as a burn deck in Legacy compared to any other Legacy deck, I agree with you. In other formats, it's not the case. For instance, standard mono red and burn in modern, those are very, very like complex decks. I mean, yes, the point is the same, but I do think that there are a lot of things you need to consider at every turn.
Yep, I think finding the right line in a burn deck can be a challenge in Legacy burn.
Captain QC, thank you. Yeah, that's probably a better way to put it. Yeah, Captain QC says the goal of burn is easy. The goal is simple. I mean, you watch people do it and it looks easy, but the calls you make actually are quite difficult.
Yeah, and in this meta right now, Price of Progress is fantastic.
It really is.
I lost to Ian playing burn because he had Price of Progress.
Yeah, most people in this store are playing a 3-color variant or a 2-color variant. You're going to.
All right, the goal for most of these decks is easy. we got that figured out. Kill the other player.
Kill the other player.
Do the thing. Make the win. I think Shay's doing the thing. I'm pretty sure.
Well, yeah, of course. The point of Storm is easy. You got to count to 20.
He's counted to several different things, and I'm not sure where he's at. I've lost track. We've already cast Passion Flames. We're getting our Storm count up. We've got Tendrils in hand, and we're going to cast Tendrils for the win. There it is.
There it is.
Wasn't that fun?
Oh, sorry,
Everybody
10,
enjoyed
yeah.
it. Everybody
You got to
enjoyed
make it
that.
for 20. Sorry about that.
Here, let's go back to this other thing. Do the thing. Just what you expected to see. We've got True Name Nemesis's blocking Goblin Guides. That's when I woke up this morning and said, hey, I'm going to do some Tuesday Legacy streaming. That's what I thought we were going to see.
Yeah. 7 for Tutor Engine. Yeah, you're right.
This game looks
have
like
two
a
separate
rip-off
counts.
of Hearthstone. Yeah.
A ripoff of Hearthstone? Super McRad, this game came out in 1993. Hearthstone was based off of this game. But think
That's awesome if you're being serious.
It's awesome if you're being serious. If you're just messing with us, then sure, whatever.
Yes, Hearthstone is a digital take on what Magic would have been if it was invented now.
Yes.
Magic was invented before there was the internet, and right? And so there's a lot of things that they would probably have done differently if it was in the digital world. The way certain cards work in Hearthstone is pretty nice, but it doesn't work out in paper. It wouldn't function nearly like it does.
Yeah, he gives a Kappa face.
Yeah.
He was messing with us. Good call.
So Ian has out this enchantment from Scourge that does the same thing as the freaking Eidolon,
Yeah.
like a jerk. or banding.
Right.
No, I mean some of the like Hearthstone thing. I've only seen a little bit of Hearthstone.
Whoa, this game looks exactly like that Magic Arena game that was just announced, doesn't it? Just like with less animation.
Yeah, and sounds.
Oh yeah.
We could make the sound effects, I guess. If
We could.
Some of those are going to get kind of old really quick. Yeah, we don't actually have elves in the room at the moment. We have a couple guys that play elves.
I know 2 people that come to this store that play elves.
Yeah.
We do have them around. You could, but please don't.
Kind of like if we have a Lands versus Storm matchup, maybe we could skip that one.
Yeah, maybe.
Is that what you're thinking? All right. Zach's at 1 life, so he can play...
Force of Will. No, he can't cast that
nothing. Yeah. He
Well,
can't fetch. He can't play his Stoneforge Mystic.
He can hard cast Force of Will.
He can't attack. He can just wait until Ian kills him.
That's about it. He doesn't have a lethal attack. He can't cast anything. He can't fetch a land.
This Pyrostatic Pillar is dumb.
Yeah, and Eidolon's there too.
That's what I'd be feeling if I was...
Yep, and we're just waiting for a burn card. Or a creature. Doesn't matter which one. More Painter? Oh, you've picked the worst time to ask for a Painter. Because guess what? Our Painter player is Ian, who's on burn right now. He like stands by Painter more than anything else. But recently he's been giving
Chain Lightning gets
this
it.
deck a shot.
So there's Ian on burn is 2-0 against some decent decks. It gives you an idea how viable burn is, right? Like,
right.
It can win.
It absolutely can.
Now tonight we are doing. Are we doing 3 rounds or 4 rounds?
4.
Are we? I thought maybe we were still doing 4 rounds. Okay.
4.
Okay. We discussed whether we're keeping that for Tuesdays or not.
I don't remember that discussion.
Perfect. 4 rounds is better.
4 rounds is better.
Whoa. Uh-oh. Super is either not cool or he's trolling us really hard.
I'm guessing, like, he trolled once.
Yeah.
Now I can't take anything he says seriously. So, once again, Super McRad, thank you for your opinion.
The superior Modern format. I played a lot of Modern, and I believe Ian's 2-0.
Yeah, he is.
And Modern is fun, right? But Legacy lets you do a lot more different things, and it makes you think very differently a lot more.
What I like about Legacy as opposed to Modern is Legacy has more interactive decks. Modern doesn't. You don't have a lot of interactive decks.
Yeah.
Most of them are very linear, whether they are, a specific kind of combo strategy or an aggro strategy.
You sit down and you try and do your thing, and if you don't do your thing, you lost.
Yep.
Whereas in Legacy, you sit down and you go, oh, you're playing lands? I'm going to mulligan this perfect hand because it can't beat lands.
Right.
and I'm going to do something I'm going to think very differently.
Yeah, modern. I find that most of the interaction comes out of the sideboard, and main boards are geared to do what the deck does as efficiently as they possibly can. Obviously, there are exceptions. Like Death Shadow. Death Shadow is a very interactive deck, right? I'm not saying there's no interactive decks. I'm just saying that there is a small amount. A lot of linear decks in modern.
Yes, and that's exactly the problem with Legacy for sure, is the barrier for entry.
Absolutely.
The one deck that is affordable is this Legacy Burn deck. There aren't too many others.
Manaless Dredge is the other one that is quite affordable. I think it's about $250 to build, but it's not very strong, and everybody plays Deathrite Shaman.
And other Graveyard Hate, right?
Right. Ley lines,
and it
surgical
gets
extractions.
old, right? It's like
Yes.
you're playing Solitaire in a lot of ways when you play Manaless Dredge. You're like,
That's one thing I like about Burn a little more than decks like that, is it really isn't Solitaire. Your opponent interacts with you and gains life, and it's not as simple as that.
yeah. Super is really trying to just throw every single one of those questions at us. I like
What? Storm. Oh yeah.
it's Deathrite isn't good. Yeah, but it's main deck, right? It's there already.
I wasn't trying to say that it's like the best card in the matchup, but it is main decked like Graveyard Hate.
Yeah, if you, I once played a Grafstigger's Cage against a Manaless Dredge player. That was a great time. Turn 1, Grafstigger's Cage. Let's go to game 2. Or game 3, whatever. It was sideboard.
Mountain Splash, you used to play Miracles? Well, I'm sorry that your deck has taken a hit. However, we have an absolutely amazing Miracles player that plays in our store. I wouldn't surprise me if we saw him tonight.
Yeah.
If you look back at our past streams, he absolutely gets featured and wins with the deck.
And
he's
on
phenomenal to watch.
Soothsaying build of Miracles.
Yeah, he's actually been toying with that deck quite a bit. He switches his build, I feel like, every other week, and he's just trying to find the best way to play Miracles, because he's made it very clear to us that it is a deck. It's still a deck.
Maybe the best deck. For quite a while, it was the best deck in Legacy.
Right.
Like pros, well, they almost pay us, so
yeah.
It makes sense why
we actually had to take classes on not taking crap from people in chat. It was a week-long class, hour sessions. It was actually brutal. Barely passed.
Captain QC, you've seen Josh play Miracles here before.
Come on now.
You just want to know if it's possible to live. If it's a small cliff, probably.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Blue Black Death Shadow and Legacy? I have not played it. In fact, I don't know.
I've only seen one person play it, Flory, MG Flory, but I have seen it be successful. Nobody here has given it a good shot, and I honestly think it's for a good enough reason. What most Legacy decks do is more efficient than what Death Shadow is trying to do.
That's all right. You can hate on Miracles every single chat. That's fine with me. Yeah, I think it can be strong.
It can be, absolutely.
Legacy Death Shadow. And especially if you're transitioning from knowing it really intimately in Modern, and then if you jumped into Legacy playing it, that you would have a huge edge, especially if you're playing against people that don't play Modern and haven't played against Death Shadow. They know the concept, right? Because they play Magic and they're probably pretty decent.
Let's put it this way. I think that the Death Shadow deck is probably better than most decks that Legacy players that have been playing for a while feel like they have to hold on to that deck, right? There are a lot of decks like this, like Painter variants. Like, they can still win. They're still pretty good, but they've lost a lot of favor. I bet Death Shadow is probably pretty close to those, maybe even a little better.
Death Shadow is not good.
It's not good.
That's not an opinion. That's a statement of fact, right?
Yep. Luxac Delver flip let you know. So it is not good. Luxac, give us some info on it. I'd like to hear what you have to say, because it's pretty clear that most of us haven't messed with the deck at all.
And normally, if you're attacking with a 1-drop that kills, you're playing Delver, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that Death Shadow can do the same thing, and other times you can just lose to it, right?
Right.
Especially if you see a burn player or somebody else that is really happy that you've gone down below 10 life really quickly.
Right.
But I'm not. I don't know.
Mm.
We've seen it in one major tournament do pretty well, right? And a Legacy Challenge, it did all right.
Yeah, finding that is a good point. It is a deck that's less than 2K. Most people that ask, hey, how much is it going to cost me to get into Legacy? 2K is kind of the line, right? But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this is before. It's not on this list. All right, we should be pretty close to time in the round.
Yeah, I got you, Mountain Splash. Okay.
Our other matches finished up pretty quickly. Burn will do that, and Lands versus Storm will end up finished pretty quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna grab. Let's see how many games are still going.
Sure. Awesome. Turbo Depths? Yeah, we actually had a couple people on Turbo Depths for a little while. It went like really heavy into favor for like a couple months, and then immediately it got beaten out the second people started addressing the threat. Oh, you sent me a link. Sweet. Let me check it out. Okay, yeah, okay, so it's like a Delver plus Death Shadow. It makes your land base a little cheaper due to you having like a couple shocks, right? Gotcha. Harry. I didn't say it was better than Painter. I said it might be along the same lines. It might be more in favor because of the discard. But yeah, this deck does have a lot of discard.
All right, so it looks like we have about 9 minutes left in the round, and maybe as many as 3 matches still going.
Cool.
Just gonna put this right here.
Yeah, Luxac. I absolutely agree, and that's what I said is like when he originally said it. There are blue decks that just do what the Death Shadow deck does, but more efficiently. Delver is not great in Modern, whereas Delver is fantastic in Legacy, and the Death Shadow deck is very similar to a Delver deck. Yes, it's different. I know. I'm sure some of you are like, no, they're not the same, but they have a lot of similarities. And in Legacy, Delver is that deck.
Yeah, so this is a a pretty standard blue-black Delver deck, right? And then you're using... This one doesn't even play Thoughtseize? Really?
No.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
So you've got Street Wraith, Dismember, and Gitaxian Probe as a way to lose life.
Gitaxian Probe.
And then you're on kind of a Stifle Wasteland build. And it's kind of weird, though, because by playing just blue-black, you're streamlining, right? You're only playing 2 colors instead of 3.
Right.
But your mana base is still really similar.
I have seen Death Shadow decks in Legacy play as a Grixis deck. Oh yeah, that is a good point, Luxac. Like Daze is everywhere in Legacy, and you really can't mess around with Shocklands too much. Most other decks that I've seen like this deck only play like 1 or 2 shocks. The original one I had seen was 3 color, and it had like 1 of each shock. Almost like it looked more like they were trying to find room for shocks instead of, oh, we're playing, we're trying to deal damage to ourselves, let's play with shocks,
MG Flurry. So if you add in Young Pyromancer and Cabal Therapy, and then you take out the Death Shadows,
and then you make the deck better, right?
Yeah, then you're on Grixis, and you're playing what I play.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's good deck.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a Delver player right here, and may I just say, he is a good one. So, you know your stuff. Get out of here. No, this isn't a place to be humble.
Absolutely. That's all it is.
No, it probably doesn't matter too much, but...
Yeah, and I'm actually right now on a Delverless build, so it's more of a Grixis control. And that allows... it plays differently, for sure. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
You get to probe and Cabal Therapy, and you can just steal games that way.
Yeah, so if you're considering building this Death Shadow deck, proxy it up, test with some players, see if it's something you want to play before you invest. However, a lot of the mana base is going to be in Delver anyway, so if you already have the Death Shadows, why not just like build it, try it out, and then if you want to upgrade it from there, then go for it.
And this really isn't that much farther. This isn't that much less expensive than something like what I'm playing, right? You're still over $1,000. You've got 3 shock lands instead of a couple duels. I actually am playing Kess right now in my deck. It's not the 4-color deck.
Yeah, he's just playing the Grixis deck with Kess in it. He cast it twice against me. I had to kill it twice. It was really scary.
Kess is the truth. Kess is fun. I'm not sure if it's actually better than a Jace, the Mind Sculptor, often, but so far I've been enjoying it, and every time I see it, I really want to play it and really make it work. It often just has gotten killed for me and hasn't been able to do anything, but that's often the way Jace works out too, right? You play it, it does the one thing, and then it dies. So,
to answer your question, Mountain Splash, Sneak and Show is definitely on the fall in Legacy. It has been ever since the banning of Sensei's Top. The reason being is because once Miracles went out of favor, the best deck. I mean, I say best with kind of air quotes around it because there are so many decks in Legacy, but I do think by a small percentage that Delver is the strongest deck in Legacy. I don't know that for a fact. That's just from me playing. I feel like it's probably the most consistent. With that said, Delver is a really hard matchup for Sneak and Show. It's a really, really rough one. And if I had to guess, that's the biggest reason why it's had such a downtick.
This is silly. For whatever reason, our website doesn't want to show Kess. Kess is from the newest Commander.
2017.
It's a 3/4 flyer. It costs blue, black, red, and 1 colorless. And there we go. There's MTG bot for you guys. So what it lets you do is you get to play 1 instant or sorcery from your graveyard on your turn once, each turn. Which, if you're on a Young Pyromancer build, you've got Gitaxian Probe, which often you get to play, which is nice because you get if you play it on turn 4, usually you're going, oh, in Legacy that just dies. It netted me nothing. But if you have Probe, you get a Young Pyromancer possible trigger and draw a card for 2 life because you.
It's really amazing.
Have the mana.
The fact that you get to cast things from your graveyard without it being flashback makes it so you don't have to worry about like alternate costs, what's the other word I'm looking for? Alternative ways to cast things.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can cast something with Delve.
You can cast something and delve things out of your graveyard. You can pay an overload cost. You can.
Right. You actually just get to cast it. You're not casting it for its flashback cost.
Right. If something has a kicker effect, you can cast it and kick it. Right. Like it. Whereas like Snapcaster doesn't really hit a lot of those things, which doesn't usually matter for such a powerful card, but Kess, you can kind of abuse Kess in some different ways.
Yes, you can force a will for its alternative cost. That's the one that actually matters.
Yes, you can only do it on your turn, but that's absolutely worth noting.
Which Dark Depths deck is terrifying? Because we just saw lands, and that's a Dark Depths deck. We've seen Turbo Depths. There might be a mono red Dark Depths deck coming out with the new rule change.
There's a Reanimator Depths deck that's had a slight uptick.
It's kind
recently.
of a merge in different The Turbo Dex one. Okay. See,
Yeah,
there was like 4 of them.
Luxac. I actually had to deal with this Turbo Dex deck. I play Punishing Junt, which any land variant is pretty good against me, and I walk into GP Vegas and I'm like, all right, let's do this. I've been practicing with this deck. I feel good about it. First round, kill you on turn 2, and then second game, kill you on turn 3, and I just went, thanks Turbo Dex.
Yeah.
Turbo Dex just destroyed me. It is a really powerful deck, but it has its inconsistencies. It reminds me a little bit of Reanimator in the way that it plays.
So the rule change is now Blood Moon, specifically Blood Moon and cards like it. When a land comes into play, if there's a Blood Moon in play, the Dark Depths will not get counters, whereas it used to.
Yes.
Similarly, what's the other?
Shock lands.
Yeah.
So normally when a Blood Moon's on the board and you play a shock land, you do have to pay the 2 life to make it come into play untapped. That is no longer.
Right.
That ability's not even there. So yes, it says but they've changed that.
So what you're able to do is a mono red version. You can play. There's a red card that costs 1 that says each player sacrifices a permanent. So you're able to get rid of your own Blood Moon, and poof, you've got a 20/20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, humility, all these things. It's more intuitive, right?
Yeah.
And for standard, makes a lot of sense.
It does.
For modern, probably will be just fine. For legacy, suddenly things change.
Things really change.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cloud Post would not enter tapped
No, it would not enter tapped.
if there's a Blood Moon out.
Mm-mm.
So anything that is on the card, any text that says, hey, this is going to
With-
happen.
With a Blood Moon out, it comes into play as a mountain.
Yep, exactly. And this is a change as of Ixalan. So it's not current.
Oh, thank you, Captain QC. That said exactly what I said. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can play all the lock pieces and the Turbo Death suit. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the build is going to be. If it's just mono red,
I-
or if it's a 2 or 3 color deck.
I think a lot of people are going to mess with it. I assume that it will be strong.
It's got Dark Depths.
The only thing I can really say, though, is that we've been dealing with Dark Depths for a while. We know how this card works. Legacy is not new to Dark Depths going off.
Right.
People are going to be prepared for Dark Depths.
So,
Just
and
like-
here's the biggest part about it. You're playing an enchantment. You're playing a 3-mana enchantment that can get countered.
Yes.
In lands, usually you're doing something that, you countered my Life of the Loam? I don't
Doesn't
care,
matter.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Blood Moon and Chalice and
Yeah.
It could be. So how is Death and Taxes positioned? I was surprised to find out about a month ago that Death and Taxes was on the decline, because here in our store it was pretty prevalent.
Yeah, it's been pretty good in our store. I think it does have some issues. The more decks that keep popping up, the harder time Death and Taxes has. Death and Taxes is a deck that it preys on decks using your own knowledge of the format. And when you have a meta that's just huge, how can you plan for it all? This is what causes Death and Taxes to decline, and then as formats narrow in, Death and Taxes gets better. That's how the deck has been, and I expect it to be the same.
Yeah, Harry, I don't mean kill your Blood Moon. I mean counter your Blood Moon.
Counter,
right?
yeah.
If it never hit play, then if that's how you're relying on getting your 20/20 out, is then playing a Dark Depths after you play your Blood Moon. If it gets countered, then I'm pretty sure, I haven't played against obviously a Blood Moon Dark Depths deck. I think I would prefer playing against Blood Moon as the win con. But if it's a backup...
It is interesting too, Harry, because the combo that it's going to use is a 3-card combo, whereas the combo that people are using it with now, which is just Thespian Stage plus Dark Depths, is only a 2-card combo, because using the Blood Moon, you Blood Moon, and then after you play your Blood Moon, you play your Dark Depths. That's how you get it into play with 0 counters. Here's the issue, though: the Dark Depths is coming in as a mountain. It's still there, right? It's still there just as a mountain. You don't get your 20/20 yet. Now you have to kill your Blood Moon. So that's the 3rd card. Now you can play Thespian Stage in the same deck, of course, but that's kind of the thing that might make this deck a little not as great as people think it could be.
All right, Mountain Splash asks, is Elves good right now, and do you think Deathrite Shaman should be the next card to get banned in Legacy? This is the question of the year, right?
Those are two great questions. Is Elves good right now? Yes. Should Deathrite get banned? No.
That was pretty simple. Yep. Elves is fantastic, especially with Miracles, fewer Miracle players out there. How about that? Miracles is still a really good deck, but it seems like there's quite a fewer number of them. And Elves does better when there's not Miracles out there. And Deathrite Shaman is it's requirement for the meta of Legacy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but your opponent isn't playing Magic. That is true. However, the more Legacy you've played, the more, in my experience, the people who play Legacy are experienced players. They fetch basics fast, not just because of Blood Moon, but because of Wasteland. So they're going to have basic lands. I would expect them to not die too badly.
We should be pretty close to round 3 here.
Yeah, I think so.
Like I said, we had a couple matches still going, so we might be on turns out there. Yeah, we can maybe find out. Nope, don't know. We're approaching right over 50 minutes. So yeah, we're probably on turns out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've been asked this Deathrite Shaman question quite a few times in the past, but I really don't mind explaining like my personal opinion on it. And my personal opinion is Deathrite Shaman enables more decks than it hurts. Not only that, but the fact that it can hurt like oppressive strategies like decks that can win on turn 1 and 2. That's a good thing for this kind of a format. Not only that, but when I say it enables a lot of decks, it enables many decks, not just like 1 or 2 where it's like pushing 2, where it's like pushing 2 decks further than the rest. It's enabling like 10, 11 different strategies, and all of them like to use Deathrite Shaman, and in the fact that it helps so many decks, it's actually not hurting the format.
and it keeps certain decks in check a little bit, right?
It does,
like Reanimator already, you have to sideboard pretty heavily against Reanimator. If every deck in Legacy had to pack 4 Leylines of the Void because there was no Deathrite Shaman, then that's a weird skewed sideboard, right? And some decks are already packing 4 of them.
Right.
Even ones with Deathrites.
Yeah, Harry, we do. I have seen people play Big Red here before. I think most people here that own all the cards typically play
I haven't seen this deck. 8 Blood Moons and Dark Depths.
No, I haven't seen that. I've seen a Big Red. I've seen a couple people play Big Red.
Yeah.
But most people, it's kind of their like second deck that they have in addition to a deck they prefer a little more.
I think it's a fun deck.
It's really cool.
If you can quickly get out of Blood Moon or a Chalice of the Void, and then you get to win because you have a Chandra or some silly dragon or something.
Yeah, I really like 4-mana Chandra in Legacy. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
But no, I haven't seen a Big Red deck with Dark Depths.
Mm-hmm.
Or do you mean Deathrite Shaman hits Dark Depths? We still get to call it Dragon Stompy, though.
Just because we call it Big Red once doesn't change the name. Come on, Sean.
That's one of the staples of Legacy.
What's the new name? Oh, I think it's Big Red.
Nah, yeah, I guess. It has red cards in it, and some of them are big.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Big Red's another deck?
I think so. I think you're right. All right. It sounds like pairings just went up.
Oh, that's what I heard.
We heard some yelling
through the cracks of our soundproof room, supposedly.
Oh, okay. Yes. After the rules changed. Yeah, we were just discussing a red deck with Dark Depths.
Oh, okay.
And, yes, I think that'll be a thing. I'm just not sure. There's a lot of variables in it. Like I was saying, I think I would prefer, as a Delver or as a control player, I'd rather see you trying to land a Blood Moon as your win con. Because if you're dropping down a Simian Spirit Guide or ramping into Blood Moon and I can counter it, I'm way ahead. Whereas a lands player who plays Life of the Loam and I counter that, they don't care and they just end up winning anyway.
Exactly.
All right, so we got some players sitting down. Let's find out. Here we are. This is not Paul and Shay. We'll get those names updated as soon as we find out who they are. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, absolutely, Captain QC. No question.
All right, looks like we have Ian on Burn on one table, and is that Shay again on Storm? We'll find out. Right now we have 2 players and no opponents.
Exactly. And we haven't quite been updated with our pairings yet either.
We've got green sleeves.
We do.
They're seafoam green. Storm versus nobody, and Ian versus somebody. Here we go. We got a player sitting down.
I'm excited to see who's going to be playing against this burn deck.
I can type.
Yeah, it's not like lands can do anything.
Okay,
exactly.
okay. So this is we're not going to see Storm versus lands. That was round 2.
Yeah, last round.
I just thought I'd show you guys somebody shuffling instead of our faces.
Yeah.
Here, let's switch over to this one here.
Them out. Yeah, these guys look like they're actually getting started.
Okay, we definitely have Ian, and we have Ian versus.
Not Esper Deathblade.
No, not Esper Deathblade. Let's find out who we got.
Layout looks great. Thank you, Sean. Alton and I spent a good amount of time messing with this overlay. We're not done, and we haven't changed our back cam yet, but we are working on it. I'm glad you like it.
All right, it looks like
rename the stream PCG Tuesday Shuffling
Simulator.
Simulator. I can't even talk. Oh my goodness!
Look at this shuffling. All right, it looks like we've got Burn versus Storm.
I actually made a joke yesterday. I was streaming the standard event last night, and we like switched over to people. They hadn't even started their match. They were both just shuffling. And somebody was like, "So are they going to start soon?" And I'm like, "No, this is Legacy." Like,
all right, let's see.
Oh my
let's see if Burn can quickly finish off Storm, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens on our backup match here. Who we have?
Oh, this is Brian. Is Brian playing Food Chain versus Shay playing Storm?
No, Shay's playing against Burn.
Oh, Shay's playing against Burn?
We might switch over to this Food Chain versus matchup here.
Although this one might be really fast.
Yeah, we'll stay here for a minute. The other match is still shuffling. They're still simulating the shuffle.
Still simulating.
Yeah, if he can get it out in Eidolon, oof, right?
Yeah, the Eidolon's amazing.
He needs to land to do it. All right. Oh, so we've got Brian on Food Chain versus Josh on Miracles on our other match.
Yeah, this one's probably going to go a little longer. We can probably stick on this Burn Storm and just watch it end pretty fast, right? Yes, Food Chain is a super cool deck. Don't tell Brian you said that though. He won't stop talking about it.
Yeah, if you guys would rather see Food Chain versus Miracles,
let us know. We're happy to switch over there.
We can make that happen. Yep.
I just figured we could stay on this one, watch the match in 10 minutes or so,
or less.
But I'd much rather be watching the.
Just cast a Dark Ritual. He's going for it right here. It looks like Infernal Tutor. Naming something.
Let this finish. Okay. Sounds good.
He reveals a Dark Ritual, goes and gets another one.
Yep.
Man, you guys in your all Legacy decks are just easy to play.
Oh my
apparently.
goodness. It's easy to play.
Yeah.
You just play creatures.
Yeah, and then you win.
Sometimes they just line up and you got it.
Yeah.
Finish this one? All right. We'll stay here.
All right. We've got the rituals. He's playing a duress. He's infernally tutoring again. He's got all the manas. It looks like he's there, right? He got to cast Passing Flames. He gets to recast the rituals. His storm count is like 1,800, and he won. There he goes.
We'll pan over to our other match between
Should take
games.
that one down. All right, so here we are. This is turn 3.
Yep. So all that's happened so far, we had a Deathrite Shaman get swords.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Which is my favorite thing in the world. When your Deathrite has to go be a farmer.
Mm-hmm. All right. Love this. Force of Will, pitching Mist Hologriffin.
Yeah. Monastery Mentor goes.
Right. And then he just goes, okay, turn 4, cast Mist Hologriffin.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh,
That's
you got
Force of Will value right there.
So Josh is back to a Daze build.
I know. He did promise us good games last week, and we didn't have them. And then we saw him play first round, and guess how many games he won with Food Chain? I'll give you a hint. 0.
And then, yeah, well, no, he won with Food Chain. He just didn't win with Food Chain out. Right?
Oh, yeah. I'm talking about the card, not
Right,
the deck.
right,
Sorry.
right. He
Sorry,
tapped
I
for some 3/3s.
should have explained.
Yeah. I think Brian is 3-0 right now.
No, Sean, you're right. Any deck that plays Ponders and Brainstorms, like any cantrip type effects, they are difficult decks to play. They have a lot of decision making. Captain QC was messing around. He's
Well, he's just really, really good, and so it's just really simple for Captain QC to play these decks.
right.
Yeah, I know players who have been like, I spend 5 minutes trying to resolve Ponder. Doesn't matter which deck I'm playing. It takes me 5 minutes, and so I can't play him anymore because it's not fun. It's not fair.
Captain QC. He's like, aha, I was kidding. Yeah. We know.
There's Portent. We're gonna look at this game a little closer. There's a Walking Ballista for 2 with a really big dice.
I don't think Josh isn't going to think much about this. He's just going to let this resolve. Make sure that Food Chain doesn't come down onto the board. That's really the only thing that matters.
All right, he can play Swift the Mentor now.
Mentor.
Yeah. Once you are experienced with it, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of Legacy, right? Is getting to know your deck and knowing which cards you're after, when you want to shuffle your Ponder, or how to play with Brainstorm.
An interesting thought, though, just because you get used to it and you learn how to resolve cantrips better, does that really make the decision less easy? Does that make them any less hard? Not necessarily. Your mind just knows how to eliminate a little faster.
What is this ugly thing? It's a giant dice. So we can see them on camera now. For a little while, we had dice that were so small you couldn't tell if it was a 1 or a 2. This one might be a little too large since you can't tell what card it's on.
Hey, thanks, Talon, for the compliment. We appreciate it. We like the overlay too.
Ooh,
Excellent. Abrupt decay. Let's get rid of it.
See, now this has been pretty fun. We've had a lot of interaction back and forth. Countering when it matters, killing when it matters. And right now we just have a 1-1 on the board versus these two decks. So I actually am not sure if Josh is on a soothsaying build right now.
Yeah, we don't know. We know that he's been as far as Miracles goes, we know that he's been favoring Monastery Mentor as his win con over something like Entreat. All right, let's try to resolve Food Chain. May I has.
1-1s is how you beat Miracles, just having a creature out.
No, you're absolutely right. Last time I had a good match against Miracles, I want to say I played Baleful Strix, and my Baleful Strix did 11 damage.
And if you can keep the Mentor off the board, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Food Chain died. Food Chain went away.
No, they will not Swords or Terminus a 1/1. They'll do it once they're below 3 life, but that's the only time they'll do it, and at that point it doesn't really feel too bad, does it?
All right. Josh has got 6 lands in play, and 7 lands in play. He's seen a lot of lands this game.
Yeah, he actually usually likes to have 7, 8-ish lands.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of the comfort zone
I'm
for a
just
deck
saying
like this.
already.
Yeah, it is pretty
at this
fast.
point in the game.
He has not missed a land
Brian
drop.
says you can have that mentor. I'm not sure what he might be deciding there.
You think Josh would like to draw a land next? I think you want to see Josh lose. That's what it sounds like.
Because Food Chain's such an easy deck to play. I like.
Right.
Ooh, attack for 1.
Do you think he'll pump it?
You can pump it up, make it a little bigger. He chooses not to.
All right, so he's got a Leovold, another Ballista, and his second Food Chain.
Ooh. So does he play Ballista for 3 and hope that Josh can't prowess mentor twice? Is that what he does right here? I'm not sure how many cards Josh has in hand. I'm pretty sure it's more than 1.
I'd be pretty tempted to cast. Okay. He plays it on.
So if he only has 1 card in hand, then he can kill him here, right? Which I'm pretty sure is the correct line. And he's got 3 triggers, so he can actually fight through the prowess trigger, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so chances are this Snapcaster is going to target something, and he's going to use the last Ballista counter to kill the Monastery Mentor. He might wait for the card to be cast for the prowess to go on the stack, but if the prowess goes onto the stack, he gets the token. So you probably just want to respond to the target.
So we have not seen Counterbalance or Soothsaying this week. He was on that last week, the last 2 weeks, and did well with it.
I assume we'll find out pretty soon what he's on.
But we haven't seen it since there's a Daze in the main deck. I think not. Storm and Burn is already done.
I look over at our other match and it's done, guys.
Yeah, it's already over.
So I assume that Storm took that down in a fast fashion since we saw him win game 1.
All right, we get a Leovold. And Josh says go.
Leovold's an important card to stick, but if I've ever played Josh before, usually he only lets creatures resolve like this that matter when he has a Terminus on top of his deck.
I think in this case he didn't have a choice. He just drew a counterspell.
Oh, did he?
So I don't think he had an option.
Perhaps not.
Brian has been able to fight through 2 mentors already.
Yeah, he's had a really good game so far. Let's cast a Food Chain.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
In Luxoc, can I just tell you, the Food Chains that he has in his deck, they're foil, and they're foreign. They are very expensive. Like, more expensive than your foil Leovold. He's put a lot into this sucker.
Just slow rolling a blind Terminus. That'd be pretty cool. There it is. There's a Terminus. Like you asked. Just like you wanted. All right. Here, I think he's pretty close here. Oh, it's going to get countered.
Yeah, we don't want any of that.
Trinket Mage. Okay.
That's a good one.
This is going to work. He gets to go find a Walking Ballista. He gets to sacrifice his Trinket Mage and cast his Walking Ballista if he so chooses here.
Yeah, if he'd like to. I actually would have been, like, knowing what Josh is playing, I probably would have been tempted to try to beat down a couple turns with the Trinket Mage. I don't know. Maybe that's wrong, but
yeah, you need to be able to answer this mentor for sure. We didn't get to see. Oh, there we go.
There's
I wasn't
Ponder.
sure what the draw was.
All right, are we gonna find a Miss Hologriffin? He picks up the die like, wait, what card is it?
It is a really large dice.
It really is.
Yeah, so the question is, can he shoot it enough? He probably can.
Yeah, he definitely can. He's going to need to pump it to make sure, but he can pump it in response to something being cast,
right.
So... But yeah, you're absolutely right.
And so far, that's how he's dealt with the other mentors.
Wow, he takes this damage.
Ooh, okay. So he's going to allow... Oh,
Okay.
threw a land. I guess he just pondered. He knew what was going on.
Yeah. So finding a land is actually pretty okay. We knew that he needed to be able to pump up this Ballista one more to for sure deal with the Monastery Mentor.
So I don't know how. If you have one foil in your deck, if you're playing at a major tournament, you might be. They might ask you, but there's nothing you can do about it.
Double sleeve your cards.
Yeah.
Like, that's the best thing that you can do.
Oh, you just take, yeah. So I've heard some judges say, yeah, if you have only your lands in foil, because the bend in the card makes it noticeable, right? And so you can actually tell which cards are which just by looking at your deck. But yeah, if you double sleeve your cards, Ryan shows off he's got another food chain in hand. You should be able to press the card correctly so that it doesn't have the bend in it.
For instance, my Jund deck, I have many different foils in it, and like since all the foil cards are just from my cube, it's like one of each different one. So I mean, for me, it's pretty easy to say like, well, how can I be cheating? Like one of every, one of every card.
Yeah. If you have a variety, especially in
I have my cards double sleeved. When I'm shuffling my deck, I cannot tell.
Yeah. But if you had a one of Kess and that was your only foil,
I can understand.
You might be able to, especially if you helped it have a bend.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting question though. If you went to a judge and said, "Hey, I've got this non-foil deck and I'm playing Kess. What can you do?"
Yeah, ask a judge. See what they have to say. If not, pick up a couple super non-expensive foils and just get a couple more into your deck that makes it.
Or they might actually allow you to proxy it.
Yeah, they might.
Way.
They might.
That would be the fix.
Hey, thanks, Riley. Appreciate it.
Snapcaster finds Counterspell, which takes care of Leovold.
Oh, Riley, I was going to mention the Zelda hat. It's my new favorite hat, just letting you know. So thank you for the present. I even for my birthday, I also got this hat yesterday. Has a Pokeball on it.
Completely inappropriate during this Magic stream.
Yeah, terrible. Sorry, guys.
I don't think that
it was my birthday. Okay.
No. I don't think that Pokemon is a competitor of Magic as it maybe once was.
Yeah, I really liked it. Thanks, Riley.
It is a yellow hat. You will stand out in a crowd with that thing.
Yeah, yellow's my favorite color, so it's like my family knows me or something.
And if you get bored, you can just throw Pokeballs at people and they can't get upset at you.
I do that anyway.
All right, so we're in this weird phase of this game where we're beating down for 2. Both players have been able to handle each other's major threats.
Yes.
Brian does have a food chain out, though. So Josh is kind of relying on constantly keeping up a counterspell, which he has at the moment.
I think what Brian's looking for more than anything else at this point is a delve spell. Something that can get those Miss Hollow Griffins that have been countered earlier in the game into his exile. Love of Pokemon isn't about the commoners. Yes. Not even close to about them. Oh, hey, look. Let's read Eternal Scourge real quick.
So it's going to get countered.
Wait, are they brothers? Oh, Jesse, are you talking about me and Mosloff? If so, yes. That is my brother.
Does he play? He has a 1 of Gurmag Angler.
Yes, he has one. He has one Gurmag Angler in his deck. It's not much, but it's probably the card that could put
that would fight through a counterspell nicely. 7. Snapcaster Mage beats. Leovold says, "I'm going to counter you."
Yeah, Jesse, my brother, his name's Riley. He comes here and plays every once in a while. He is also a very, very talented Magic player. He He mostly plays standard, but every time I give him a modern or a legacy deck, he plays it like you wouldn't even know that he had, that he wasn't playing before. He's pretty talented.
So Jace bounced Josh's own Snapcaster so that Josh could counter something again. Brian finds Baleful Strix and gets to draw a card, finds another Baleful Strix.
Yeah, that's about as good as Brian could have had, right? I mean, Josh is at a life total that he's gonna have to terminus these, and that doesn't feel good for him.
But he can.
He kind of has to.
Yeah, he's got a Jace on board.
Mm-hmm.
Josh is at 2 life, is that right?
I believe he's at 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it may not be terminus or bust. He may the Snapcaster that he pulled back may be just enough to deal with both.
Well, he can snap back a terminus that's in his graveyard, so
yeah.
he doesn't need to rip one off the top or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, Brian should have some Force of Wills in his main deck as well. I wonder if he'll be able to interact with a terminus being cast.
Decision time here. How does this?
Decision time.
All right, Jace gets resolved. Land to shuffle away some of those cards probably. And go. Interesting.
So if you're Brian, do you try to kill the Jace, or do you try to push his life total?
Right. I'm not sure at this point. He's down to 3, and there's enough things. I think you just attack him, but
It is actually a really difficult decision. Jace might be good enough to keep Josh in this game, and whether he's at 1 or he's at 3, right?
Oh, he's just going to take it down to 1.
Down to 1. So that fetch up there cannot fetch that without dying. All right, we're going to predict. Oh, look, the days that I knew that was there. I'll draw 2.
So it looks like Josh wanted Brian just to play another threat so that he could terminus this next turn.
I'm actually kind of surprised that Brian did play the Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah.
I think Brian only has 1 more Walking Ballista in his deck, and he's already played his Trinket Mage.
Well, and Josh is going to have a counterspell for it regardless, right?
At this point, well, yes.
Uh-oh. I don't know if it was definitely a punt. But, I mean, he knows he has a Snapcaster in hand, and he knows he's got Terminuses in the graveyard, so it seems like he walked into it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to call that not a punt.
We're going with a different plan than I was thinking.
It got swords. That's definitely not a punt. If he had terminused, I would have said, yeah, that was pretty bad, but that's not how Josh is choosing to deal with this situation. He 1-for-1'd with it. I'd say it's pretty good.
Josh is on his way to decking himself.
He is. I think Josh knows what he's doing, though. I think he has a plan.
We've got some looking at the top of Brian's library.
Oh, Josh loves this play. All right, I'm going to take a look at the top card of your library. Yep, it's fine. You can keep it. And watch Brian fetch right here.
All right, so we see Force of Will, hard counterspell, Ponder in Josh's hands. So Brian's got quite a bit to work through in order to get anything happening. He still would love that Delve spell, the Grimag Angler, or Manipulate Fate, possibly. He doesn't find anything to fetch for. He just shuffles.
Interesting. Just has... Oh, yeah. The Swamp's tapped. He has 4 basics in his deck.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he didn't cast Terminus either. This way he gets a Snapcaster Mage on board. and using the Snapcaster to find a Terminus wouldn't have.
I do think that this is where he's trying to turn the corner, and actually having a creature on the board. That's why he did what he did.
So wait. He's at 1 life, and now he's trying to turn the corner. Is that what you're saying?
I think that's the right time.
Okay, yeah. Maybe not after you're no longer at 1 life.
Yeah, once you're at 0, I think most
Maybe,
would classify
maybe
that as too late.
Too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other game did end Mountain Splash. In fact, probably like 10 minutes into this game, I checked the other game, and Storm had already won both games.
Or Burn won really, really quickly, game 2 and 3.
Or that. I'm not sure, but
Storm
I'm going to guess Storm got it.
All right, he's down to 5. Let's see if this keep the Snapcaster game plan is going to work for him. Mr. Griffin. That's going to get countered.
It is.
So it could also be... Ooh, it didn't get countered. It's going to get swords.
It's going to get swords.
Wait, don't swords. It gets bounced back to his hand. There we
Yeah.
go. All right.
That's probably better.
Snapcaster takes him down to 3. Can he find something else? More Snapcasters.
Brainstorm.
So it could also be that if Josh is just on Mentors and Snapcasters, that's it, then he might have looked at his library and said, this is my only threat. This is my only way to win a game is the Snapcaster that's sitting in my hand. And terminusing and putting it on the bottom of his library.
Bounce,
would be
attack for
rough.
4. Go to 2. What's going to 2 do?
Yeah, we already know he can't fetch anything, right?
Does he have another Brainstorm, or...
Okay. We confused everybody there. All right, Miracles gets game 1. And that took a little while.
It did.
I'm not sure, actually.
We started... I want to say we started the round around 9-10, so...
What are your favorite rogue decks?
Well, I played a funky rogue deck the other week. I didn't do too well with it. I made a lot of mistakes, but it was this... it was a Goblin Bombardment deck. It was a Mardu-colored deck that played, like, Contamination and, like, Bitter Blossoms and Blood Ghasts. That's definitely a rogue deck. That deck was amazingly fun to play. Really, really difficult, though. Not too great either.
You can
Not
steal
too
games
powerful.
with it.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if people don't know what you're doing. It means red. Let's see. Another rogue deck would be Dead Guy Ale, right?
Yeah.
That's the rogue deck.
Uh-huh.
That's fun. I don't know if it still qualifies as being a rogue deck or not, but
Yes, Zombardment. That's what I played, I think 2 Fridays ago. I didn't get to play last Friday, so 2 Fridays ago I played some Zombardment. It was a blast.
all right, Mountain. I want you to stick around and watch Josh not do that. Some Miracles players absolutely, I think, can stall a game out and go, I won the first one.
Yeah, Josh does not play that way.
Yeah, and we're going to see Josh play fast and play for the win and really try and find the line that is the most correct.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why it's fun to watch this Miracles player. Some Miracle players I've watched, and it's less than entertaining. Josh, on the other hand, that was a slow game because they both kept just dealing with each other. They just both always had the answer.
Very back
right?
and forth.
I expect this game to play a little differently.
Yeah, Captain QC, you're absolutely right. The other thing I noticed about it is the deck is very mana hungry. You want 3 to 4 lands in play at all times, meaning, and with that said, Wasteland is a nightmare. An absolute nightmare. The deck plays 1 swamp. Like, it was brutal. I played against lands in my second round. I actually beat Death and Taxes round 1. Lost to lands just in a landslide.
A landslide?
Yeah, okay. And it was really bad. But turn 1, he goes mana, mana bond, dump my hand, wasteland your land, and I already just right there, I looked at my hand and went, okay, I kept a hand that was okay against 1 wasteland, but now that I know what I'm playing against, this isn't going to end well. Immediately, my opponent goes turn 2, loam. and I'm like, I'm dead.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm just, I
But
actually
there's a lot
dead.
of decks you could be playing and you lose to that exact hand
Exactly.
in lands, right?
It was brutal.
I like the idea of intuition in the deck, though. That'd be interesting. That sounds fun.
Splash blue and bombardment for intuition.
Yeah, you get blood gas and therapies. They go to your graveyard, and you get to just do it
Okay.
all. Do it all.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm pretty sure we still have that stream 2 Fridays ago up on Twitch. We post all of our tournaments afterwards. If you want to go give round 1 a try, that's when I was featured. Although I think that was the week that somebody gave me a stipulation and wanted me to play with all my cards upside down and my lands in front of my other permanents. So I had to play this new deck that I'd never played. Plus, I had to play like a stupid person. Sorry, I had to dumb it down.
MG Flory, thanks for joining us. Come back and join us next Tuesday.
Yeah,
We'll be
appreciate
here.
it.
If you have any weird stipulations that you want to make Kyrie do,
Throw us a sub. Make me do something weird. I guess that's where I am now. I've done it twice.
give
I'm
us a
sure
follow,
third
and
time will-
that way you guys will get a notification when we pop up.
Yeah, go ahead and give us a follow. We stream 3 times a week, so you're always welcome in here.
Captain QC, I like this. Let's get outside the realm of Magic and into the much more important discussions. on a
You know
scale
what,
of
Captain QC, I don't need this. I don't need to be sitting here. There's burritos right outside in our store that I can microwave, okay?
I like how he spelled jealous as a way that makes it look like jalapenos. Because now I want jalapenos
Jailous.
on my burrito. I'm sure that was intentional.
I'm sure.
On a scale of very much to ultra much, that's our choice.
Very much to ultra much.
Yeah.
I'll say right in the middle of that scale.
What's in the middle of those? A lot, much.
A lot much. I think you hit that one right on the nose.
All right. We've got some kind of quickness here.
You do.
We've got a counterspell that's getting Force of Willed that sees a Mist Hollow Griffin go to exile. So a food chain is going to resolve on
Yep,
turn
food chain's
3.
in. No, I know that we're gonna. Okay, yeah,
Ooh,
he already
he's got
found a
the
Council's
answer.
Judgment.
Yep.
He also brings in.
I know Captain Keys.
That's awesome. Yeah, so Council's Judgment's gonna exile food chain, and then we're just gonna cast this Miss Hollow Griffin. But thanks, man.
Look, these things actually get to resolve. Here we go. We got a creature on the board that actually gets to attack. I don't know if that happened last
And an
game.
Abrupt Decay. Wow.
Ooh,
Okay.
Brian has the answer again.
Yeah, this is gonna get swords.
Swords to Plowshares doesn't really feel good against a Mist Hollow Griffin.
Not particularly.
That's
no.
kind of the one thing you don't want to Swords to Plowshares.
In fact, if anything, Brian just gave him a target, right?
Yeah, he gets to draw a card.
He does get to
He
draw a
paid
card.
3 to draw a card and gain 3 life.
Sounds like a good deal.
Well, it's a deal. I don't know if it's a good deal.
Take it where I can get it, okay?
Ooh, we get a Surgical Extraction comes out of the side. Yeah, let's get rid of those mentors.
Wow. Okay. Now, we haven't seen an entreat from Josh. As far as we know, he plans to win the game with mentors. Oh, and Baneslayer Angel.
And Baneslayer Angel comes
So-
out of the sideboard.
Yeah, so usually it's just mentors plus Snapcaster Mages, but it looks like he's boarded in his Baneslayer Angel.
So I'm surprised this didn't get Flusterstorm, though. Seems like a good target for it.
I'm kind of not. This card isn't really doing, like, with one already dead, Josh is probably looking at it going, you know what? I have Baneslayer in hand. I know how to play this game to make this Baneslayer win the game. I'm going to win the game with this, you know?
And he's got Terminuses, so if he finds a Brainstorm, he can make that happen.
Draw a card, gain 3 life, make opponent discard a plow. Yeah, seems like a good deal. But it looks like I was going to say, he's taking care of Leovold, not the Miss Hollow Griffin, because he let the Miss Hollow Griffin hit.
Yeah. You don't want to really exile that.
No, you don't want to.
And you want to be able to cast Brainstorm, Ponder, Portent.
Yeah, he really wants to find something like a Brainstorm to put these Terminus back on top of his deck and just put the Miss Hollow Griffin back in the deck. That seems like a good place for them.
when Baneslayer Angel... Yeah, Baneslayer Angel is great. When we've seen Josh successfully play it out, it definitely can win games.
So since the Miracles deck is so threat light, a lot of people will board out excess removal. They know that they have to beat the Monastery Swift Spirit or Mentors, sorry, but people will shave on removal, and they want to interact more with their spells. So Josh brings in usually one-ofs: Baneslayer Angel, Gideon Ally, Zendikar. Sometimes he only has one, sometimes he has both. But yeah, Baneslayer Angel is amazing in the Miracles deck. It's fantastic.
So we just saw Brian exile one of his Mist Hologriffins to be able to cast another Mist Hologriffin.
And
so
this
exiles one, casts it again, and then casts another one because he goes infinite mana with Food Chain and a Mist Hologriffin.
Remember that one time where I said Josh needs to draw a Brainstorm?
maybe that's past.
I'm going to give you guys a hint. He drew a Brainstorm on his last draw.
So unfortunately, though, Brian can exile in response to
Yes, he
Terminus,
can.
right?
Yes.
And so it's not actually a solid answer.
No.
Those Mist Hologriffins will end up in exile instead of on the bottom
Yeah,
of his
it
library.
will do something, but this Terminus is going to look pretty good on this turn. As good as it really can with his situation.
Alright, so he's going to cast one of them, or try to. Josh is still looking at that Swords to Plowshares in hand. He's able to cast the other one again, and he even has mana left
so
over
he has
for Death
he has
Ray.
infinite mana, so he can dump any permanents he wants onto the board.
It looks like Brian has a Misdirection in hand, which could be kind of interesting.
I play these Miss Hologriffins 100 times. Would you like to counter any time? All right. We got a Swords on the Deathray Shaman.
Josh goes down to 2 life. Here we go. Next answer. When Terminus doesn't answer your opponent's board.
Yeah, I think that's where Miracles is going to have a rough time.
Yeah, and we just weren't ever
Oh,
able
look,
to see
Terminus.
Brian get
No? Okay.
this
Land
combination
Terminus.
online, right? Last game. There we go.
Baneslayer. We found it. So this is interesting. He can just attack and sacrifice the one.
Yep.
Yeah. Didn't do a whole lot.
Almost worked. There we go.
So close. We got a game 3.
1-1. See, Food Chain is not fair. You just get to sacrifice the thing that was going to gain him life.
Did you see how easy Food Chain was to play?
That was simple. The
Like-
line was so clear.
Right. I mean, what else would he have done?
No, he didn't need to commit the Deathrite Shaman, but there was no harm in committing it.
Yeah.
Not really. Because he was just going to be in the same place. If he cast a Terminus, he'd be able to sack him, or sack the Griffins, put him in exile, recast him next turn, do it all over again.
Yeah, that wasn't really too much of a downside.
Yeah.
I don't think.
If he somehow answered Food Chain and Terminus in the same turn, then yeah, maybe it would have been smarter to keep it out.
It's about the same either way, Jesse. Like, did he need to commit them? No, but committing them is probably looks just as fine. Like, it doesn't. I don't think it matters too much.
I prefer watching Food Chain
Food Chain's more fun to
over
watch.
Allurn. I think I actually would prefer playing Food Chain as well.
I think so. I like the Allurn deck. It's really interesting, but I think Food Chain's a little more fun.
And sometimes Allurn, you sit there and you go, wow, you played a really horrible creature that does pretty much nothing because you didn't get your other cards. Whereas Food Chain allows you to do some silly things, right? You get to play bad cards, but they actually make your deck really, really good.
Yeah, it really does.
And sometimes your opponent's deck just can't handle them, right? Like Swords to Plowshares, it feels really good against Allurn. And against Food Chain, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there were outs, so maybe keeping the Deathrite Shaman in hand was correct.
Yeah, Sean. Brian didn't even need to cast the cards. I mean, the deck's so easy to play, he didn't actually need to be playing the deck at all.
But, okay, so in that exact situation, right, if you had a Wear Tear and Terminus, if you wear tear the food chain, Brian might think through that ahead and actually exile his Mist Hollow Griffins right then. So then you have a Deathrite Shaman on board that's presenting lethal, and if he terminuses to get rid of it, then he can just recast
The
one or two of the Griffins.
Yeah.
All right. So as you can see, Josh did not play slowly to try and time out, and they're both going quick again.
Yeah. Yeah, he stood up to our expectations.
Yeah.
I can't remember who said it, but they were like, yeah, now the Miracles player just stalls out the next game. No, Josh plays very quickly for a Miracles player. Like he.
You guys can get a quick glance at some of Brian's deck there. Unless
I
it's
just
too shiny to see it all.
I just saw a bunch of shiny cards. They all look the same to me.
If you want to go back and rewatch the stream and do it frame by frame, you can get an exact deck count.
So here's the question. We just talked about how like foils will like warp a little bit. Now Brian's whole deck is foil except for like his painted and signed Chris Rush brainstorms and like one of his islands is like a Chinese island, right?
And dual lands.
And his dual lands. So
that's
does
enough.
it work reverse?
Probably.
All
Swords takes out Deathrite Shaman again.
Yeah.
Man, those Deathrites just have to be farmers.
Because those are the best cards. He's cheating.
Obviously.
Brian, who like gets to play his legacy deck like once a month. Cheater.
Boom! Take that Trinket Mage.
You spent thousands of extra dollars to cheat.
To make it easier. Food chain gets results. Deathrite Farmer. There you go.
Deathrite Farmer.
Yep. Trinket Mage into a Ballista for two.
That is kind of a cool combo. When you have the food chain on there, you can just play Trinket Mage, sack it, play what you got with a decent amount of counters just right off the bat.
And you can see Josh kind of hesitate there, like,
Am I
crap, you played food chain. So I don't have an answer.
Right. And Brian can present, a game-ending effect as soon as this next turn. So.
Yeah, he just needs a Mist Hollow Griffin or a...
Just kidding. I saw a Disenchant in Josh's hand.
Ooh.
Disenchant is going to take care of... Yeah.
Who would have thought that this matchup was just going to be threat, answer, threat, answer.
Threat, answer, threat, answer. Interesting. Another surgical extraction. I've talked to a couple people about surgical coming in some random matchups, but this is interesting.
I like it. We should be thinking about is the cost of not owning pretty cards. Like there's a certain inherent cost to your soul by owning ugly cards. Is that what you're saying?
Riley doesn't ever mean anything.
He just says things.
I know
it doesn't actually mean anything.
Yeah, he says things, and then people react, and he goes, "Oh, now that people are reacting." Yeah.
It wasn't intentionally deep, but it sounded like it. And so sometimes, if you just say a lot of things, sometimes the thing you say is going to sound.
As long as you can make the words sound somewhat thought through, you're going to get people to react.
Or if you just do this as you say them.
Yes.
I don't know what I had for lunch.
Getting to own pretty cards cancels out the initial cost. What we should be thinking about is the cost of not owning pretty cards. Did I score? Did I get that one, Riley?
Uh-oh. We have a gift and we have to open it.
Oh, jeez.
Saying bad things and getting people to react. You jerk. I like it. That worked.
There was never credit to be given. Settle down, Riley. I already gave you credit. You got me an awesome hat. Didn't we get through this?
Oh, look at this. We actually have a Monastery Mentor trigger. This is the first time and this is the third game.
Yeah.
That we've actually had a trigger happen.
And this is a tough position for the food chain deck because, unless he has another Abrupt Decay, right?
Well, and I mean, he used Ponder as a look at the top 3 cards of your library, or
Mhm.
shuffle. He doesn't get to draw a card there off of Leovold. But look at the top 3 cards of your library, or shuffle and get a 1/1 prowess. Okay. So off the top, Walking Ballista. It worked for him once. Oh, he just had it in hand. Never mind.
He's so triggered right now. He's probably not actually. He probably just appreciates how much credit I've given him by trying to discredit him.
So I'm a little surprised that this is how this is going to go, but okay. I thought he would maybe try and kill the mentor before this all happened, but
Okay, he just pluses up.
he can kill it right now if he wants to.
I expect him. He might plus and try to attack Jace first. You know, just attack, threaten to plus, and just trade with the Monastery Mentor.
Yeah.
Because if he can get damage on Jace, then that's really what matters. And
Right.
a trade versus shooting it is the same thing.
And attacking with a 3/3 and a potential 2/2 that can shoot blockers should be able to do some stuff here. Where from 1 to triggered is mildly enraged. Is that at the higher end or the lower end? I don't know.
I'm sure Riley, scour the internet for a moment and show us your scale. Because you telling us that just doesn't quite do it. I need visual representation.
And I thought the whole point of triggered was it's 1 and then triggered, right? Isn't that how triggered people work, right? There is no scale.
I think there's a build-up. You don't think so?
Nope.
It was the point from not pulling the trigger to pulling the trigger. There's no in between.
Yeah, you're perfectly calm and then you trigger.
A W innuendo.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So, do you attack with both? Okay. He chooses not to.
So by choosing not to, he does allow himself a bit of an easier way to just deal with the tokens.
Again, though, here he could have dealt with Monastery Mentor, gotten rid of it, and instead he allows for more Mentor tokens to come out.
Everyone's so triggered.
Oh dear. You're busy watching the stream, is that?
Yeah. What a coincidence. I'm actually busy streaming.
All right, Jace is going to do something. Jace is going to look at the top card.
Draw me a map later, Riley. A treasure map.
Josh does some math. Snapcaster Mage in response to the counter going on. And Disenchant?
Yeah, so he'll throw this one either at a monk or at the Snapcaster. Yeah, this... Yes, Riley, an expedition map.
So I'm curious. I'm going to have to ask Brian. Because that last turn he could have dealt with Mentor. And then that wouldn't have been an option. I mean, he still could have done that, right? Snapcaster, Disenchant.
Yeah,
But the Mentor wouldn't have been on the table. But maybe it just doesn't matter.
No, I do think that we're looking at a game that Jace is going to take away.
Yeah, and having blockers is a thing, right?
Absolutely.
The draw trigger on... Oh, I don't think he did.
No, I think he missed it.
Yep.
You guys are right.
On Ballista getting targeted by Disenchant.
Yeah, he did miss it. I think they're also referring to Jace when Jace pluses.
Wiki, I found that elves, you would maybe consider the elves in modern is a pretty linear deck and easy to play. Legacy elves is really challenging.
Yeah, I've touched on Legacy Elves. I'd argue that it's one of the most difficult decks to play in the format. However, if it's what you like, start playing it. You know, like you start playing it now, and then you become a seasoned player with it.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, Cradle is pricey, but any deck has pricey lands in it. And to be honest, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, if you're going to go get a whole bunch of Underground Seas for a deck, those are pricey
Those
too.
are cheap. Those are actually more expensive than Cradles. However, the deck needs 4 Cradles.
Yeah.
3 is good, but not good enough. You need 4. So,
Council Judgment takes care of Leovold, and it's a clean answer. It's one of the very few there is.
still easier than Ponder. Seriously, Sean, I disagree. I actually do disagree with that. It is very difficult to play elves.
Yes, absolutely right. If you're going to be playing other things, Underground Sea can see a bunch of different decks, and Cradle, not so much.
Yeah, for you. Yeah, of course.
All right, so we've got a
Manipulate Fate.
Manipulate Fate that he's able to pay the Flusterstorm tax on.
Yep, but it was to get a 1/1, right?
And he no longer can play this Misthollow Griffin from his graveyard right now.
Yep.
And Jace is at 11. I'm curious how this game would have gone had he ballisted the Mentor when Josh was tapped out. If it would have been...
Yeah, no problem, WikiLink. I'm always happy to throw in my 2 cents.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll all let him know. We'll give him a good ribbing about it, that he missed drawing off of Jace on the disenchant.
Oh, we'll let him know.
In fact, if you really want, we can get him in here and you can tell him.
Well, he's been missing his draws off of Jace. Every single one off Jace. Like, yes, he missed it off of it being targeted, the ballista being targeted, but they're talking about Jace. Jace is upticked every turn, and Brian hasn't drawn once.
No, but the first few times
did he?
Jace was targeting Josh. He targeted himself with it.
Oh, did he?
So there wouldn't have been a draw there.
Oh, okay. My bad. So
I think the first
only
one
these later ones.
Yeah,
okay.
I think the first one he missed was that disenchant on the Walking Ballista. And he shows Emrakul in hand,
Emrakul.
which isn't enough.
It is not. And
So
that's going to do it.
Miracles gets it.
Either that or it was a draw.
Yeah, I believe that's how it worked out.
Oh, he did target himself every time? Okay, so it was the ballista trigger that you guys were talking about. My bad.
All right, so we've got... I don't know how much time we have left in our... Let's find out real quick.
It should be over. I expect it to be over. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
All right. On to round 4 we go. Should be fun. Look at you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, welcome. We have a sec before our next round. How are you, Patrick?
I'm doing well. Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you.
It's
Open this package live on stream.
Envelope and everything.
Yep.
All right, we've got a Patrick here with us.
Thanks for tuning in last night.
Yeah.
And making bad jokes.
That was so fun.
I was coming up with them on the fly.
Hey, WikiLink, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
That was an interactive game. Absolutely.
It really was. It was a great game. So this is our friend Patrick.
Hi,
he
guys.
works here at the store. He does Monday. He's going to be doing Monday night standard streams with me.
Yeah, I know you guys are all poo-poo, standard, but it's still pretty fun.
Somebody has to create the content. Sorry.
Yeah. Now we're all triggered.
I think we already decided everybody's been triggered for a while now. So.
Well, I had to give
thanks,
me a birthday
Riley.
present.
But at the same time, standard soon you're going to get to see some pirates and some dinosaurs. Who doesn't want to see that?
That'd be cool.
You may hate standard, but you like pirates and dinosaurs, so you're gonna have to find.
And you're a legacy player, so you're not going to play standard, but you probably want to watch just a little bit to see what pirates and dinosaurs looks like, right?
Yeah, of course.
All right, let's see. Let's see here.
He knows what it is, but no one on chat or.
Pretty excited about this.
Yeah. So here in Utah land, we have Salt Lake Comic Con coming up this weekend. And there's going to be a lot of Magic artists there. So Kyra was going through his cube the other day, and he was looking for things that weren't foil that he still needed to get signed.
I only like to get the foil cards for the cube signed because I'm working on foiling out the cube. It's actually pretty close to done. So I looked at the artists and I was like, shoot, I don't have these ones foil yet to get signed. And then good guy Patrick over here.
Night, Jesse.
Jesse, thanks for joining us. Have a good night.
Yeah, later, Jesse.
And Mountain, thanks for the follow.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But yeah, so Patrick got me a foil Urza's Legacy.
Well, it was the only time it was printed in foil, but yes.
Yeah.
Frantic Search.
Frantic Search.
So the artist is
Jeff Maricola.
And he'll be here.
And he will be at Salt Lake Comic Con.
Sweet.
Yeah, I know, Jesse. You told me you have a signed foil Ancestral. I know. I mean, if you want to write your name, if you want to write my name on it, you know, like do so. You'll have to let me know next time you're up in Utah.
A link for your cube?
Do I have a link for my cube? Not right now.
One of these nights we'll get it up.
I have it on an Excel spreadsheet, which I can technically send out to anybody. If you're super curious, Mountain Splash, send me your email address and I'll send you a list.
Yeah, just whisper it to Paragon and we'll get it.
Yeah, whisper it to Paragon. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Because I can send you that very easily.
Well, I'm gonna go make sure everything get out there.
Perfect.
Thanks.
That's awesome. What a birthday present.
All right.
This is my birthday.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick. I am super excited about this one. So
I owned one of those for ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, I was like, well, I never use this, so I'll move it.
Yeah,
that
I've got a.
That might be the one.
It might be the one.
Probably not.
No, but yeah, my cube. We've actually been running cube events at the store. I think we've done 3 now since I've started working here, and they have been awesome. My cube is it's an unpowered cube, 720 cards. It's very balanced. I've put countless hours into it, so every time I find a cube foil in somebody's collections, I go out of my way to trade for it. And
is this Corey versus Josh? Is that?
Not sure. Yeah, we've been doing it on Sundays. So Sean, I originally only did it one time where I invited like a couple people from up where I live to come down, and then like a couple people that work at the store. We kind of did a private thing, and we ran one that way, and then was it a week ago, right? Like a little over a week ago Sunday. I just kind of like put the word out there to a couple people, and word spread, and we had a full 16 people show up at our closed store on Sunday to cube. So we opened up just for the guys who wanted to cube. It was awesome. I used every single card in it. It was fantastic. And it made me even more happy because when you own a cube and then you play it, I'm pretty sure that there's like some unspoken expectation for you to do well with it, right? Isn't there? Like if you own a cube, there is.
Own your cube, yeah.
Yeah. And I was actually
playing against some pretty good players.
Yeah, I was playing against some really strong players.
Okay. So real quick, we've got Shay on Storm versus Josh on Miracles. I believe they're the undefeateds.
Okay.
Did Shay lose on Storm?
No, Shay won.
Okay, and then the backup match is Food Chain versus Burn. Brian.
Wow, we've seen a lot of the same people today.
Yeah.
That's okay though. We've been able to follow some fun decks. But no, I was able to 4-0 the event. It was a lot of fun.
This time.
And what was so funny is like, oh man, my draft was really underwhelming. I honestly drafted it and thought I don't think my deck's very good, and then I went on to 4-0 it and it surprised me. The deck was really good.
It's fun. It's fun every time.
It was a blast. WikiLink. You wish stores had cubes? I know of stores that do. I'm not sure where you're from or what area you are in, but if you are in the area, I'd be happy to have anybody come play cube. It's
We're in
It's
the
my favorite thing I own.
shuffling
So.
stage. Real quick, we're going to show you this other match while these guys
Are shuffling.
shuffle. So Burn doing its Burn thing, and Brian manipulating
Doing-
fate. He gets to actually cast manipulate fate and have it resolve.
Yeah, this is a matchup that Brian can actually win with combo. Like it's not like Ian's gonna do anything about it, right? And it's also another matchup that Brian isn't going to lose to something like Eidolon while he's comboing off. Miss Hollow Griffin costs 4, so you just get to cast it as many times as you need.
Okay, they're doing their thing. We're going to show you Storm versus Miracles. Since they are undefeated players, and we cheated Shay out of watching him beat down on Burn last match.
It was sad.
And if they finish quickly, we'll show you guys Food Chain versus Burn. Of course, they might be the ones who finish quickly. We'll see. We get to watch both.
Yeah, we
can
do.
watch them simultaneously.
Sucks for you guys. But then I can't focus. I'm like, but I want to watch this, but I want to watch that.
Brian's currently reading Searing Blaze, a card that you see in Legacy all the time.
Yeah, like every day.
Yeah. Whereas if you play Modern a lot, you know what Searing Blaze does.
I know you're going to be surprised by this statement, but you know what this kind of reminds me of? Fantasy football.
You gotta watch it all at the same time.
You just have
Multiple screens.
tons of screens, and you just kind of don't focus on any of them, but you're watching them.
One day and 5 hours to get there. I am on my way now. Wait. If it's on Sundays, you don't need to leave Tuesday night.
You don't need to. I mean, if you need a place to stay, no. I got you.
Okay, so if not starting as elves, what do you think about Black Red Reanimator? I actually think that's a pretty good entry deck for Legacy. If that's something you enjoy doing, if you like comboing like that.
If that's something that you like, truthfully enjoy, just doing the same thing every game, putting something large into play turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, then
Who doesn't like that?
I agree with Bryce. It is a good starting point. If you're looking for a skill intensive deck, build elves. If those are your two options, red black reanimator, you don't have a lot of decisions to make.
Yep.
Usually you draw your hand, you see that you can put something big into play turn 1, and then you do it. And then if your opponent can do something about it, then they will, and then you try to do it again. It's pretty self-explanatory. Whereas if you want something that you can grow with as a player, I would suggest playing elves.
But if you build Black Red Reanimator,
You could sell into elves later.
or you already have some of the pieces for other decks, right?
Mhm.
And it's not that expensive of a deck.
No, it's actually one of the cheaper decks. I think it only needs like 5 duels, and they're some of the cheaper duels.
Yeah, they're not blue.
Mhm.
And you can play Chancellor of the Annex, which lets you do dumb things. Yeah, that's absolutely true. You don't get to fully grasp the concept of some other decks because you've either won or you lost based off of how quickly you were able to combo or how quickly they were able to hate you.
I like Reanimator as a meta choice more than I like it as a starter deck, to be completely honest.
Yeah, and it's good if you're playing in a large tournament. You're
Saving a lot of brain power.
Yep. You just get to do the same thing, and you're only hated by sideboard hate strongly, not so much by particular decks. In fact, you'll often see a lot of Black Red Reanimator at big opens and tournaments, and so sometimes the numbers kind of get skewed because if Black Red Reanimator wins a large tournament, it's not necessarily the best deck. It might be more commonly played, though.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so our Food Chain versus Burn matchup is already over, and I wasn't watching. I don't know who won.
We'll pay attention to who starts.
Let's actually watch this one.
I agree. The Miracles deck is one of the few decks in the format that gets to interact with Storm throughout the entire game. They don't just play a hate card for Storm and beat them. They actually, try to counter some spells, try to gain small increments of advantages at a time.
And Black-Red Reanimator is kind of interesting in that you can kind of build Show and Tell, but they're kind of the same thing. I don't know. Show and Tell is nice because you can kind of avoid Graveyard Hate, but you can actually play Sneak Attack in Black-Red Reanimator as a way to avoid Graveyard Hate.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Sean. I mean, Jund is not a top tier deck in Legacy, but I will say, I mean, being a person who plays it, it's a lot of fun. It's a very skill intensive deck, and there are many different roles that the deck takes throughout games. It's fun to learn how to identify them and use the deck well.
Elves shares nothing.
Elves usually plays with 2 Bayou. Just to let you know.
Yeah, and definitely proxy it and play it and get a feel for some of the choices that you have to make. Elves plays differently than I thought it would. How about that?
Hey, how's it going, Insanity Rises? Nice to have you in chat. Okay, bye. I'm pretty sure that's Mike. That's funny. Nice knowing you.
All right, so Shay has a Cabal Therapy in hand, and he just got to look at Josh's 2 mentors, but he also sees some counter spells. So, do you want to play a Cabal Therapy and have it get countered? Or do you draw out the counter spell that way? It's kind of an interesting challenge here. The mind game of Josh doesn't know for sure what Cabal Therapy would name, and he has to choose to counter it before that thing gets named.
Right.
Shay may just, if it doesn't get countered, you name Counterspell. Or he might choose to take the mentors. Because 2 mentors is a pretty quick clock. He just says go. Snapcaster Brainstorm. Which would have been, also, I didn't see there was a Brainstorm in the graveyard. That also would have been a possible response to Cabal Therapy.
So when you play the Cabal Therapy, you name the card as you play it, not as it resolves, correct?
No, you play it, and then after it
resolves. So that was somewhat risky by Josh, to just say, okay, name blind, let's see you do it.
Yep.
He probably named Force of Will.
What did he play one?
Cabal.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, he's playing it now. He didn't play it earlier, and he had seen his hand with probe, so he wasn't blind. It's just the situation was complicated enough that he chose not to. Okay, so here he's named something, or well, maybe not. Josh is still responding, right?
Right. What do I think of Elves in Modern? I think it's an okay deck. Like I don't think it's top tier, but I do think it's good enough to beat most things. It's a collected company deck, which, I mean, we've seen those be strongly successful in Modern. So, yeah, I mean that's a really good way to push into it. Like, build Modern Elves. You're gonna have most of the elves you need to move into the next format. Well, actually, probably not as many as you'd think. Now that I think about it, the combo elves plays with a lot of different elves.
Okay, so now Shay has already named something. And I would have expected it to be either Counterspell or Mentor. It doesn't look like he hit anything, though, so I'm not sure what he named. Maybe he just named Force of Will.
I mean, it is the scariest card for Shay.
Okay, he's going to try this out.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, and Josh is thinking about countering it. He can't counter snap and counter again. So he's... Shay's got Storm Count of 2, Storm Count of 1.
Yeah, that's the first spell he's cast.
No, we
two?
have Therapy,
Two.
yeah. And he's got a bunch of mana. 5 mana. That's how much Cabal Ritual makes when you've got Threshold. And Shay is a pretty strong Storm player here, so often I've said in the past, I don't really know what the right play is. But Shay probably does. Alright, so he's going to try and cast Past in Flames. Because, no, I don't think Storm's 3. I think only 2 spells have been cast so far this turn.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Or did he brainstorm in response to the... Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, I think it should be. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely, Lexak, you're right.
Alright, Past in Flame gets countered.
And that's gonna stop Shay's turn right now. He still has a lot going for him though. He's got 4 lands. He's got a ritual, and he has Past in Flames in the graveyard. Infernal Tutor's gonna probably find another ritual. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately he wouldn't be able to ritual and tutor and ritual.
Right. Plus counterspell, but at this point he's not storming off. He's out of mana. He's doing this in preparation for next turn.
Those Snapcasters in Josh's hands are counterspells though, so
yep.
I'm not sure how Shay's gonna be able to fight through this.
Two Dark Ritual in hand, and Josh doesn't know the other card.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear at this point. You just counter the Past in Flames again. Shouldn't be too much more difficult than that. Depending on his draw, of course.
And it was a card. I'm not sure what it was.
Well, we know about 2 Dark Rituals, and we know about the Tendrils. I'm not sure what the other card is.
It's moving very quickly.
Like, do you think he knows what's in his hand?
He's going to take a look at it in a few minutes. There it goes.
Oh,
that's
now that I've actually looked at my hand.
That's fantastic.
I don't know why I was flipping the cards for a while. We'll say I was thinking. I was thinking.
It might be a Xantic Swarm. That might be what he drew.
Xanted Swarm. That would be pretty okay. I imagine that would draw a counterspell. Oh no.
All right, here we go. Dark Ritual.
3 mana. Storm count 1.
Tendrils.
20 miles.
Bam. Take that.
Oh. Okay, so at this point, if he's not banking on Past in Flames, then I'm not really sure what he's doing.
Yeah. He's going to make this Past in Flame work.
Yeah. He just wanted to gain some life. You know, that casting Tendrils there negated this hit, gives him another turn. Okay, there's the Xanthid Swarm.
Was.
I think this is one we pull up, right? I mean,
Sure.
we know he, well...
We kind of know what it does, right?
He's casting swords on it very quickly.
It's
but
gonna die.
I wouldn't mind talking about it for a sec.
Look, I did the thing.
And you...
I know.
I'm impressed. Alright, Xanthid Swarm. Let's pull this up. Show.
Oops.
One above it. Oh. Getting there. So there's a huge reason why Xanthid Swarm comes in a matchup like this. Any deck that's going to be consistently interacting with Storm wants this card. It's 1 green for a flying 0/1. Yeah, so it's not really meant to deal damage, obviously. When it attacks, defending player cannot cast spells this turn. This is a cheap way for Shay to shut off counterspells.
Yep.
Not only that, but it's a 1 mana demand a counterspell card. Because you know that if you don't counter Xanthid Swarm, the counterspell's going to rot in your hand.
And often, because it's post-sideboard,
Right.
the Miracles player or whoever else has removed all of their removal. And
Yes.
so the Swords to Plowshares was a surprise there.
Mm-hmm. But it's pretty clear that Josh has experience, with this.
Yeah.
Keeps in a couple swords, make sure he doesn't die to Xanthid Swarm.
Oh, that wasn't post-sideboard, was it? That was
game 1.
game 1, so it's a main deck, right?
But I assume he will keep in a couple things that will be able to interact with a Xanthid Swarm. Either that, or he'll just plan on countering it. But that's not always realistic when they play it on turn 1.
So this is definitely not game 1.
No, definitely
It
not.
might be game 3.
I actually think it is game 3. It looks like just the start of game 3, because we saw game 1 end earlier.
Yeah. Yep. He just played it.
Yeah, he had it main board.
All right. So this is Brian on Food Chain. We've seen this brainstorm before, and he's facing some burn and some red creatures. It's really satisfying to get attacked in Legacy on a Goblin Guide and have a land on top of your library.
Yeah, it doesn't make it feel so bad, does it?
It's
You're like, thank you.
Yeah. My game just got a lot better.
Yeah. You don't even.
So that might totally be Shay on a metagame call.
I was gonna
because
say,
so
metagame.
many decks here are playing Force of Will and other such things that he's just pre-sideboarding pretty much.
If I had to throw out a percentage to say how much blue was in this room, I'd probably say like 80-85%. With that said, I think it's an okay metagame call. I mean, if it's a one of, then why not, right?
These scales tonight.
We've had too many scales.
I can't keep track of the scales.
Or where we are on the scale.
No, I don't know. All right, these guys in our other match are sideboarding, and we get to see.
Yeah, it is interesting because the decks will have removal. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, he did right there.
In fact, it's interesting enough that you've now shown them a reason to keep removal after game 1. That's not exactly something you want to do.
Yeah, but I think it's like a one of. And if
It
they're
probably
keeping
is.
several Swords to Plowshares,
It might be a win.
that's all right.
Right. You need to
Yeah. slowly scale it up.
Yeah, well,
We'll just build on it like a food chain.
like food chain.
Yes, we saw 4-color game 1.
Yeah, Calvin's on 4-color. I happen to know that 2 other players that play here on a regular basis are on 4-color as well.
Strix says, "I'm going to block one of your things and draw a card."
Dang it, Sean, you're just like my brother. Stop. I already have one of him in my life. I don't need 2.
Uh-oh. All right. These guys are doing their thing. We're going to show you more green versus green sleeves here. Shay's going to be on the play.
Mirror match.
Unfortunately, we only do 4 rounds,
We do 4 rounds.
on Tuesdays. That ends up being finishing at like 11 p.m. here, Mountain Time.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see 4-color next week.
Yeah,
Quite possibly.
And I'm not sure if I mentioned this while you were in the stream, WRIN, but we also stream Legacy on Fridays.
Yep.
So and a lot of times some players can make it for Tuesday, and other players will can only make it to Friday. It gets our diversity it goes crazy sometimes. People lend other people decks. It's fantastic.
I like this Dark Confidant in Storm. This is awesome.
Just turn 1
Yeah.
and a swords.
It got answered.
Yep, gave him a reason to keep the swords
it's
in.
true.
It actually is kind of.
Shay's going to go up to 22 life there. Showing it as 2 life.
I would assume the Terminus still come out, but I think keeping the swords in, knowing that he's going to have Xanthid Swarm, probably safe.
Uh-oh. Josh is playing some monks out of nowhere.
Well, WikiLink, you are absolutely welcome here always. Like I said, 3 nights a week. You are welcome to jump in any stream. thanks for joining
Yeah.
us.
Appreciate it.
All right.
We've got the seafoam green versus the olive green here battle. This is
What?
really important.
What is with you in sleeves?
There's a lot of choices in sleeves.
There are a lot of choices.
It defines, it says a lot about people. Like what color sleeves were available when they bought some.
Oh, okay. Jebediah. Yeah, that is excellent. An excellent point. I didn't think of that one at all. Yeah, so keeping one Terminus in, that could be relevant if the Storm player decides to go for the Empathy of Warren's plan. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I'll explain a couple more things about the stream on Friday, Sean. There's just like one little quirk about our new overlay that I'll need to let you know. But yeah, I appreciate the feedback. I'm pretty excited to have the overlay as well.
Brainstorm is going to go away by surgically extraction. Because we know Josh likes dentistry. It's surgical extraction, that's what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, I got it.
That's what it is. You've heard that one before, huh?
No,
Oh, I've never said that before?
No, definitely not. Oh man. All right, what's next?
What is next? What's going to happen now? I'm excited. So, Shay's hand is revealed right there, right? That's what we're seeing over by his life totals.
Yes.
That's his hand, those 4 cards. And his graveyard is below his library, and his brainstorms are exiled. Because I was confused there for a moment.
It's like,
So, I just thought I'd say that out loud.
just in case people were wondering the
Well,
same thing.
Then I got it straight now.
Right.
And all of that information is known to Josh because of surgical extraction, because of his dentistry.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's even funnier the second time.
Yeah. Yeah. And Shay draws and says, "Go." It's quick.
Yeah, he's looking for an infernal tutor, which even at this point, the infernal tutor would get countered so fast. Either that or the LED. I'm actually not sure what one Josh wants to counter. You probably counter the tutor, right?
Yeah.
Let them discard their hand.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. So since he doesn't LAD, obviously he's just gonna let this resolve and go get another tutor. There's not any large reason to counter this.
Right. Yeah. So he doesn't pull the trigger now.
Yeah. I was just saying you counter the tutor. You counter the tutor if he decides to
Snapcast back, surgical extraction, taking
infernal tutor.
the foil infernal tutors. That's rude. They might be foil Russian infernal tutors. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Yeah, definitely Jebediah. I mean that. Just having it's not enough. When any situation where Josh only needs one counterspell to deal with an entire turn's worth of plays, it's going to look bad for Shay. And unfortunately for Shay, that's how most of this game is going to look.
Yeah. Which is part of playing Storm.
Yes.
These things happen. Sometimes you get to win on turn 0 or turn 1. Feels like turn 0 to me. And other times...
When you don't get to play, it was turn 0, right?
Yeah. You're hoping that your opponent makes a mistake. And I don't think Josh is going to.
No, I don't think so either.
Being up a game, already having a threat on the board, it's a 10-turn clock. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, Josh is one of our best. That is for sure.
Well, he's okay.
Yeah, we don't want to give him too big of a head.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah. I've seen him lose a game.
I've actually beaten him in a game.
Whoa! See,
I did.
See, on a scale from 1 to whatever somebody's scale is, you're better than Josh.
I don't have any pictures to prove it, but guys, it's a thing that I did one time.
You didn't selfie every time you... Hey, could you frown real quick?
Frown real quick.
Yeah, see? We can do scales, too.
Nice scale. Yeah.
That's great.
I was able to beat him in cube, but that's a different monster. So.
In your own cube.
In my own cube. I beat him with my own cards.
Your own cards.
Hey, you know what? These are small victories, okay?
Yeah. Where you like purposefully put in some blue and white cards so that Josh would be just tempted enough, but not enough to actually make a complete deck.
Let's put it this way. I bet you most people in this chat, I'm not going to say everybody because I highly doubt everybody, but I bet most people in this chat have somebody that they play with or around on a regular basis that when they beat them, it is a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Josh. Like, like when I get paired up against him, I don't get all fatalistic like, oh, I've lost, but I think about it and I go, I'm gonna have to fight hard for this one.
Well, and that's one of the best parts about playing Legacy here is that the competition is they're all decent people, but the competition is pretty high too.
It is. It's very high.
So you feel good about your wins and feel like you learn things about your losses instead of just playing Magic, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, think of it this way: like the person that I just mentioned, I am that person for Bryce.
Look at this! Kyra's coming at me. That's fantastic.
Guys, I'm undefeated against Bryce. Like, it would be a huge accomplishment. No.
Yeah, a draw can feel like a good time, and when you know that you had it, especially if you're the player who's playing quicker.
Right. Exactly.
And they're playing a little slower or whatever. I
think as a general sense in Magic, there's always going to be somebody better than you. There are only there's only like a couple pro players that might just be the best of the best, but there's always going to be somebody that.
Or there's always the person that for
are.
Whatever reason you always just lose to.
Yeah,
for the longest time I could not beat lands because every time they would get just a nut draw, and because it was just one player at the time.
Yeah.
And I'd watch them play after and they'd lose because they like lost to their own deck, right? And I'm going, why?
Why does that never happen to me?
Yeah. Why do I always have to just get beat down?
Right.
So when you finally beat lands, it feels good.
Yeah, exactly. I beat Reanimator for the first time with Jund 2 weeks ago, a couple weeks ago. That was huge for me. I like actually found my ley lines on 0. Guys, that doesn't happen. Like, most people are like, it's easy to beat Reanimator. Just put 4 ley lines in your deck. Guys, I do, and I never find them.
Yep, you totally lost me. All of that makes no sense to me whatsoever.
See, that makes perfect sense to me. So I don't know what you're talking about. Mountain Splash, like what you just said, like if you had said it in any other way, I'm not sure I would have understood. Oh wait, rock paper scissors. That's right.
Okay.
What he just I'm gonna put this in rock paper scissors terms. Okay.
Okay.
He feels that he is rock.
Yeah.
And his friend is paper, and another friend is the scissors.
Okay.
And they could one person could just never beat the next. Does that make sense?
Sure. I'll pretend. I'm just yes at this point.
Does that work, Mountain Splash? Did that work for the people who don't understand Pokemon?
Okay, but so when you're playing fairly competitive Legacy, right? You sit down against a player, and they have to mold a 5, or they have to mold a 4, and then they don't get to do anything. And you didn't really get to play a game of Magic.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes, right? Because it's
does.
Magic. So it feels kind of like, oh, we didn't actually get... Kind of the opposite of what we were just talking about, right? Where you feel good about beating the player that was a competitive, right? You both feel kind of gypped, even the person who won. When I sit down across lands and they get just the horriblest, mulliganing bad thing, I just kind of am joyful. I get the exact opposite. It's like, yep, that's what you get.
Yeah,
because so many times lands just defeated me while I never got that bad. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Riley. See, Riley had to put it into Fire Emblem terms. Oh my goodness, I can speak. I'm sure a couple other games has that same layout, but Fire Emblem, guys, it's real.
Yeah, I agree, Jebediah. We're not really following the exact lines here because for the most part, Shay is just waiting.
Right. The Miracles deck, it doesn't win quickly. Once it has a Monastery Mentor and has stuck it and is able to protect it, the game can end quickly from there. But at this point, right?
And Josh is able to do another Surgical Extraction, taking out the 3 left Lotus Petals. Because he's a jerk.
Captain QC, I'm not even... First off, I don't agree. Final Fantasy Tactics hasn't been around for a while, and Fire Emblem has continued to amaze. I'm not going to come at you because first off, you're not here, and second off, I don't care. But thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Josh could just win with
He can
Snapcaster
win with
Mage.
Jace. Absolutely.
The Snapcaster is going to get it done.
Yeah, the only reason I said that, Jebediah, is like that's how you win quickly, is a mentor. That's all I was really saying.
Yeah.
Of course, you can win the game with Jace. I wasn't saying that was the only win con. Or Snapcaster, obviously. Am I not playing along? Come on, man! I'm humoring you. I swear I was. I'm sorry.
No,
Like
I'm not going to come at you because you're not here.
I control back. I'm not going to sit here and just take that. I'll war with you. Let's do this. He said, "Come at me."
Yeah, he did.
And I did.
In full caps.
And now he's like he's like in the fetal position.
Oh. It's because Jorgensen isn't here to back him up.
Yeah, he's not. That is interesting.
We probably should, call emergency services, or
I agree. Yeah.
if anybody knows where Jorgensen works, make sure that he actually showed up for work today.
Right. Well, Jorgensen, since you're not here, I'm going to assume you're hospitalized.
Yeah. Where there's no Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it was unfortunate to not see you here today, but I hope you get well soon.
Come at me. Don't really.
Captain
really,
QC,
no.
you're a great troll. I apologize. I'll just fetal up next time. I didn't know that's how it worked. Jeez, now I feel bad. Yeah, Riley, you probably will watch the playback and be like, "Oh man, they actually thought I was just gone." You're supposed to get triggered. Remember the scale.
There were so many scales tonight.
Oh,
I don't remember any of them. There was one from...
I'm pretty sure there was a scale on a scale at one point.
There was.
I don't really know how heavy that
Yeah.
the scale was, but...
All right, Josh has all the cards. And this is kind of inevitable, right?
Yeah.
It's just taking a while.
I actually think we should take a look at our other match.
But yeah, it's over.
It's already over?
It was Burn versus Food Chain.
All right, this match it is.
See?
All right, yeah.
There's no one there. I checked about an hour ago.
Okay.
There was already
1
no
hour.
one back then.
Gotcha.
All right. If Storm pulls this off, though... Oh!
I'm pretty sure he's flashbacking Surgical, isn't he? Is he not? Oh, no, Pondering. Okay.
He's just doing the things.
Poor Shay can't even sit still. He's like constantly moving, like, just kill me.
Yeah. Come on. Come on. You've already taken all my Lotus Petals.
And Josh is like, I'm trying.
You've taken my Brainstorms. I've already got Ad Nauseam in the graveyard because it got countered. Oh, Dark Confidant. It got countered. And
I'll
Shay
concede.
extends
All
hand.
right.
I've had enough of this countering. Josh is going to show 18 counter spells in hand, and he was going to win in a couple turns. Oh no! But did they have jalapenos on them? Because I really want some jalapenos on them.
You know what, Captain QC, you deserve all of those burritos. I can honestly say that. After this stream, I will not eat any burritos, and I will be jealous just for you.
Those were all of the things that Josh just exiled from Shay's deck.
That is crazy.
That's rude. See, now I kind of want a jalapeno in the cheese burrito.
All right, guys, so just a couple things before we leave. Since that was the last round, I wanted to show off these little Goy frocks.
Let's actually
Yeah, let's go to our back cam real quick. So we've got these Goif rocks. They are our trade, so we teamed up, got our logo on it, and we have it in silver as well. Now, before we've advertised these, and we didn't have them up on our website, and since our website is currently in construction, we did put them up on eBay. You can find that on our Facebook page, which is we're pretty easy to find. We're just Paragon City Games. Yeah, so you can check those out on eBay. Also, our pre-release events, we have one at midnight, a second one at 11 a.m., and then we have a two-headed giant at 5. Ixalan should be awesome. Hope to see some of you at our store. And in other cases, I know that there are some... Who was it that said that they were going to drive over a day to be here?
That was for Cube, though.
That was for Cube? Yeah, well, they can hit the pre-release at the same time. Perfect. But yeah, so that is... I think that's what the only things we really needed to cover, right?
Yeah, I'll throw you guys a link here. I think maybe there was a link. There they are.
Haha.
This one?
Yeah, sure. One. That works. We'll send you the link for the silver ones. You guys are welcome to find the gold as well.
This will take you to eBay. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, Mountain Splash. That was you. Well, start driving. Can't wait till you get here.
These guys are $10, and they're metal. These Goif rocks, and they're pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're solid metal. They're very, very nice.
And Kai and I will be back here next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
You may see me on stream making mistakes on Friday.
Yes. Me as well.
And
yeah.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right.
Hail Heroes.